Goku had a dream. Goku dreamed that he was about to fight the god of Super Dragon Balls. Goku was excited for the battle until the image of the god of the Super Dragon Balls disappears in front of him. Goku says, "What is that? Where is everyone?" Back to current times. Goku's house. Goku wakes up from his dream and says, "What? What's happening? I was sure I was about to fight the god of the Super Dragon Balls. The great priest had come here to call me to the battle. I don't understand what's going on here. I was about to surpass my limits." Chi-Chi appears in front of Goku and says, "What are you doing, Goku? You slept for 3 days. I was already getting worried. It's time for you to go to work." Goku watches and speaks. "So, was this all a dream? Strange. It all seemed so real to me. I cannot understand. Maybe it's my great desire to train." At that moment, Goku begins to have his routine in his normal day and is just reflecting everything that was going through his mind. Goku remembers that he was about to fight the god of the Super Dragon Balls until the moment when Goku speaks. This is all very strange. Did I live some kind of illusion? Everything felt so real. The High Priest was trusting that we would defeat that guy. We had been tasked with defeating a god. I was getting excited for the battle. I cannot understand. At that moment, a great light appears directly on Earth next to Goku. Goku speaks. Is this also another illusion? Is this also some kind of dream? At that moment, Beerus, the Destroyer, and Whis appears in front of Goku. Goku says, "Oh, Mr. Beerus, Mr. Whis, what are you doing here? The day of our training had not yet arrived. I wasn't prepared to go back to training with you." At that moment, Beerus looks seriously at Goku and speaks. "Did you have any kind of weird dreams last night, Goku?" Goku looks seriously at Beerus and says, "I knew there was something behind it. It was very real. How do you know I had a dream, Mr. Beerus?" Beerus responds, "Come with us in a planet of destruction. We need to talk." Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of the Z Warriors. Let's start. Whis and Beerus take Goku to the God of Destruction's planet. Goku stands face to face with Beerus and Whis. Goku says, "Mr. Beerus, now explain it to me better. What does this question have to do with me having a dream related to the God of the Super Dragon Balls? What's going on into this?" At that moment, Beerus observes and speaks. "Good. There's something we're all trying to figure out too, Goku. All gods have dreams related to other gods. The great priest had summoned us this morning just to say that something strange was happening after a temporal rift was created in the center of the galaxy of all universes. Various versions of the God of Destructions we already know, and some other formerly powerful beings are emerging from this rift and disrupting other timelines. Many disturbances began to be created in other timelines a few days ago. What amazed everyone was that several beings began to cause the greatest destruction, and one of these beings was a version of Son Goku." Goku gets scared and says, "What?" Whis watches and speaks. "Calm down, Mr. Goku. Let Beerus-sama continue to conclude what happened." Beerus looks at Goku and speaks. "Be quiet and don't you dare to talk, Goku! You have apparently been warped into several evil versions of our timelines. Similar to Goku Black when Zamasu stole his body in another timeline. Maybe that dream you had wasn't a dream at all, but a premonition of a battle that could happen in the future against..." Wait, so the God of the Super Dragon Balls will still rebel against us? At that moment, Whis looks up and says, "Maybe that could happen, but it's not like that, Mr. Goku. Things here can change in a somewhat intense way. When we talk about changes in timelines, we know that often what happens in another future does not change the past of another timeline. When Trunks killed the androids, or even all of you were killed in other timelines, nothing happened in the timeline in our timeline. However, the problem would be if an extremely strong god wants to manipulate those issues. The multiverse is infinite. A god who knows this wants to manipulate time. He can become the ultimate existence of everything. Since all of them had similar dreams, someone might be wanting to get involved in all of this. The god of the Super Dragon Balls of this universe, to this day, no one knows his whereabouts. But from what I could study in other timelines, the Super Dragon Ball's god has been causing great complications. And unlike this universe, that Zeno-sama himself is taking care of everything. In other timelines, the god of the Super Dragon Balls is one of who takes care of all the senses. But he manipulates his reality the way he wants. Just like all the gods of destruction we know here in this universe respond to Zeno-sama. In other timelines, those who are taking care of all things are the gods of the Super Dragon Balls alongside the other gods. What does that mean? You must be wondering what they can do, right, Mr. Goku? Goku is just watching without understanding a thing. Whis responds, well, the answer is very simple, actually. Having even more power than Zeno-sama alongside the other gods of destruction, they can just take control of all this, and it would change the virtue of things and the essence of everything. After this is shown, you can sense and feel that all other timelines can be eliminated. If in a main timeline the desire of the creator of everything ends up coming true, well, we don't know to what level the powers of the gods are in which other gods are involved in this, but that would leave a task for a mortal to accomplish. The gods, by rule, could not fight another god from other timelines without authorization. That's why we thought of the mortal who performed the best in the Tournament of Power. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence that you had this dream, Mr. Goku. At that moment, Goku starts watching and says, what makes you think even though I trained and raised my Ultra Instinct even more that I could still be able to become as powerful as all the gods? At that moment, Beerus observes and speaks. Well, you did manage to get much stronger, Goku. But still, after everything that happened, you were the only mortal who had this dream. As if you were being chosen for something. As we speak, several alternative versions of you and other beings exist. If you manage to get that call, some anomaly is occurring through your body, so surely your powers have increased much more according to your past memories. At that moment, Goku tries to understand and speaks. But Mr. Beerus, I'm not feeling any different in my powers and I can't see anything changing in my body. Is your reasoning really right? Did I really get stronger just from that? At that moment, Beerus advances towards Goku and speaks. Now we're going to do the test. Beerus activates his Sakai energy and charges forwards to hit Goku. Goku activates his Ultra Instinct and speaks. Wait, Mr. Beerus, don't do that. We don't even know what might happen. At that moment, Whis laughs and says, Lord Goku, if I were you, I would really look to dodge all these attacks because Mr. Beerus is fighting in a ruthless way and if you flinch, he might kill you. At that instant, Beerus begins to observe and speaks. Come on, Goku, show your powers soon. Show that you're capable of. No. Come on, Goku, show your power. Show what you're capable of. I want to see how high you can go. Please know that my power level is far beyond anything you can think of with all your imagination. So come on, show your power, otherwise you will die here. At that moment, Goku tries to fight Beerus and says, I'm not feeling any changes in my body. I can't really do anything. Mr. Beerus is too strong even for my Ultra Instinct. At that moment, Whis launches a great energy on Goku, causing his body to become paralyzed. And at that moment, Beerus advances and pierces Goku's body. Goku watches and speaks. Mr. Beerus, why did you do that? At that instant, when Goku was lying on the ground, Goku begins to see the image of Zeno-sama in front of him. Goku says, Zen-chan? Zeno's voice speaks.
Goku, you are capable of everything. You are capable of defeating anyone. After all, you are Goku, the sane but powerful.
At that moment, Goku begins to recover his energy and the planet Beerus begins to shudder more and more. That moment, Goku begins activating a new transformation. His body begins to turn blue and his hair turns white. At that moment, Whis observes and speaks. Just as we think, Lord Beerus, he activated the God Killer transformation. Beerus smiles and speaks. That power is astronomical, so it really was true. Beerus creates a huge blast of energy and prepares to attack Goku. Beerus says, "Incredible, Goku. Now receive this. This will be my final blow." At that instant, Goku directly attacked Beerus. In the blink of an eye, Beerus is thrown away and falls to the ground all bruised. Beerus says, "Impossible! How did he manage to get here so fast with just one punch?" Beerus had his guard down and fell to the ground. Beerus didn't expect Goku's power to be so high. Goku dashes in front of Beerus. Goku arrives in front of Beerus lying on the ground. Whis says, "What will Mr. Goku do?" At that moment, Goku, even with a different appearance, he speaks in his normal voice and says, "I don't know what's happening to me, Mr. Beerus. My body's totally different, but it seemed that this time I defeated you. Calm down, you didn't know about my power either. In fact, I didn't even know how I got it." At that moment, Goku in his God Killer form felt a great shudder inside his body and says, "What's going on with my body?" At that instant, a great light appears directly on Beerus' planet. The great priest and Zeno-sama appear in front of Goku. Beerus lying on the ground and Whis watches and talks. "Zeno-sama is here, but how?" Zeno says,
Goku, you're different. We need to talk to you. You're coming out named the new God Killer.
Goku had defeated Beerus the Destroyer with great ease. Beerus had let his guard down because he didn't think Goku's power would increase so much. After showing his power level and all his God Killer energy, Goku managed to reach an unimaginable level. The true transformation, Goku's power, was shown. At that moment, Goku was close to coming face to face with Whis. Whis kept watching and saying, "So that's it, Mr. Goku. Your powers have increased so much that you are now able to start wanting to challenge even the angels. What should you call this new transformation of yours? The Devastating? Or some other name? I confess that after seeing all your training, I am very proud to see that my pupil managed to demonstrate all the evolution of Ultra Instinct. This without a doubt is a power that many want to have. Many believe it could be a big problem in the future. What will you want to show in front of it? Will you really want to challenge me, Mr. Goku?" At that moment, Goku starts to smile and says, "I just want to test my skills, Mr. Whis, and you'll be the bait this time. I don't know what's happening to me, but these powers already say a lot that I will become that being that will unite with everything." Goku prepares for battle stance and Whis faces off against Goku. At that moment, a great light appears directly on the planet Beerus. Beerus was lying on the ground. At that moment, Zeno-sama's voice appears. Zeno-sama says,
Goku, you have blue skin. How cool. Your body color is the same as mine. Does that mean we're more than friends now?
At that moment, the great priest and Zeno-sama's two guards were there. Goku starts to smile. Zeno-sama speaks.
Glad you're here. I finally found you. We need to talk, Goku.
The one who had shown diverse skill and managed to increase his powers more and more. One who has achieved the God Killer transformation and surpassed the maximal level of his power. The mortal who managed to defeat Beerus defeated him. Son Goku, or saying God Killer. Everything that had been shown caused some questions to be created. How did Goku have a dream and all the other gods of destruction have the same dream about a specific cosmic entity? What was being hidden behind all this? Something was yet to be revealed no matter how catastrophic it was. What's going on? Who is really behind it all? Why are Zeno-sama and the great priest behind Goku? Zeno-sama is face to face with God Killer Goku on planet Beerus. Goku starts to smile and says, "Mr. Zeno! I was about to raise my power even further and start testing my new skills against Mr. Whis. I don't know what happened, but my body managed to achieve a transformation that I never imagined that I could. When I activated my Ultra Instinct, I felt simply a much greater power coming from me. And with that, my body became like this. Blue. I didn't believe that I would be able to, but now it seems that this form can defeat any enemy." The great priest begins to smile and speaks. "Looks like the power of angels and Ultra Instinct finally flowing through you, Son Goku. That's fantastic." Zeno smiles and says,
It seems that Goku has managed to raise even greater power, and this is getting more and more interesting. Goku, you must have noticed that your powers are getting higher and higher, right? I believe you took Beerus the Destroyer by surprise. We follow this battle that you had, and I think that God did not imagine that you would reach this level of power. That's why he didn't use his supreme energy.
Whis starts to smile and says, "So that means that they were watching everything. They knew this could happen." Very good. What do they want to do here? Zeno-sama starts looking at Goku and speaks.
Goku, this transformation of yours is really cool. It's even cooler than the Ultra Instinct you showed in the Tournament of Power. This transformation certainly makes us very excited. You can show great feats in different universes. You are very good, and I'm sure that you will get stronger every time.
At that moment, Goku smiling watches and speaks. Thanks, Zen-chan. But do you know why am I like this? Why is my body getting so changed, blue, and I thought that the body only changed when it was a type of transformation, but in this case, it is a stage of Ultra Instinct. I had no idea that there would be any changes or anomalies in time. At that moment, the High Priest watches and speaks. Mr. Goku, we just need to understand that you are now a God Killer. Here we have two Zeno-samas, Zeno of the present and Zeno from the future of Trunks, who, by the way, erased the entire universe itself. Trunks' timeline that had been created and all destroyed by Zamasu and soon after by Zeno from the future for some reason was brought back. Someone has managed to bring that timeline back, and several enemies and gods of destructions are collapsing. Several gods decided to cause the greatest catastrophe in the timeline. Someone with power similar to or even greater than Zeno-sama himself is preventing future Zeno from erasing everything that happened there. So the gods of destruction are prohibited from fighting gods in that. At that moment, the Z warriors of that timeline are totally weak, and other universes already have several catastrophes happening. This is all because of the gods who are taking wrong actions. This time, Lord Goku would have to fight Beerus and other warriors from other timelines. You have a mission now, Mr. Goku. As a true God Killer, you will rebuild all these lines of the universe. Goku is impressed with such responsibility that is brought and says, "But why would I have to do that, Daichi-kan?" At that moment, Whis watches and speaks. Good Lord, Goku, if you haven't noticed, it looks like all of this was happening because of a twisted version of you that may be the mastermind of everything. Impressed, Goku says, "What? Impossible!" At that moment, Zeno-sama approaches Goku and places his hand on Goku's shoulder. Goku begins to regain consciousness and has a vision of various threats and distortions in timelines. Goku says, "It seems to be back to normal. So does that mean I now possess the powers of a true God Killer?" I'm excited to test my skills. Now I would have to rebuild this whole timeline. Zen-chan, you can count on me. I won't let you down, and you can trust me to save the universes from this timeline. At that moment, Goku observes and speaks. Well, there were several warriors I fought last year. Did they get much stronger? Mr. Beerus, does that mean then that I'll see you again in another timeline? At that moment, Beerus seriously says, "Next time I'll fight you at full strength, and then we'll see who's actually stronger. I'm sure that I'm going to take more and more of my powers." Zeno-sama looks at Goku and says,
Goku, don't disappoint me. I trust you a lot, and I'm sure that you'll be able to save all of this.
The High Priest smiles and Zeno-sama's guards make a serious face. Goku, in his God Killer form, starts to smile and says, "Let's start this right now." At that moment, Whis creates his magic cube while Goku was analyzing everything that would happen. Zeno-sama says,
I hope Goku's ready. We will now send you to the timeline number 4.
At that moment, Goku starts to smile, and after entering Whis' celestial cube, Goku is transported directly to timeline number 4. At that instant, we can see a planet totally devastated. Goku says, "Where are we? I could help that I would be sent to Earth. Where am I? I thought I was going to be sent to Earth." At that moment, an ironic voice arises. "Oh, if it isn't Goku, Son Goku himself. What happened to you? Your skin is different, but that doesn't matter. If you're here, it must be a gift from the gods. I have the right to eliminate you then." Impressed, Goku says, "It's not possible. You're alive?"
Goku God Killer. Upon reaching that timeline, he is faced with something that leaves him impressed. Looking around him, he sees the wreckage of a planet and some particles passing before his eyes. At that moment, he feels a presence that makes his whole body shiver. Goku clenches his fists and looks back, when suddenly a voice with a tone of irony begins to say, "Let's see if it's not Son Goku. After all, what is happening to you? His skin is different, but that doesn't matter. If you're here, it must be a gift from the gods. I have the right to eliminate you." Impressed Goku says, "It's not possible. Are you still alive?" Goku stares at that being that makes him feel the sweat running down his face. At that moment, Goku is sure and replies, "You are black. You are different than I remembered. Your form is not the same anymore. I see that you also went through some changes." Seeing there in front of him the presence of a known enemy, which not even he could defeat alone, Goku was different and he knew that his powers were infinitely greater. However, the powers of his enemy were completely different. At that moment, Black gets a little closer to Goku and says, "I can really see that your powers have changed and grown a lot. However, as you may have noticed, I am not the same as before either." Goku then replies, "What are you doing here? That time Zeno-sama eliminated you and the entire universe, and I am sure you were destroyed. But by the energy I feel emanating from your ki, you can't be an alternate version. I'm sure it's the same Black as that time." Black lets out a light sigh and slowly raises his hand to his face, covering one of his eyes, and with the other, he stares at Goku, and then replies, "You are right. That damn blue dwarf wiped out everything, the whole universe. I thought it would be deleted too. All I could see was a flash, and then everything went dark. I thought I was dead until I felt my body boil. I felt my body changing, and the entire composition of atoms and cells that shaped me were organizing and rebuilding themselves. I can't say exactly how, but I managed to get back after being erased by him. I think that the desire that the Dragon Balls fulfilled to make me immortal meant that not even the mighty Zeno-sama was able to erase me. I wandered alone for some time in the darkness of a deleted universe until I could see a small glow, lost in the immensity of space. At that moment I realized that the only thing that is more absolute than the gods themselves, more absolute than any force or power that may exist, is time. At that moment, I found the Ring of Time. Goku, with wide eyes looking at that imposing figure in front of him, cannot understand what he has just heard and is wondering. But how? It's impossible, isn't it? Black, with fury at that moment, exclaims, "You are Goku. You and your friends tried to finish me off, but I prevailed. Zeno-sama tried to exterminate me, but I survived. And now, thanks to the Ring of Time, I managed to travel between timelines. I managed to acquire powers and abilities that not even the gods obtained. Yes, Son Goku, I became more than a god. I now control gods from multiple timelines. I can manipulate space-time as I please. And I, with Goku, can fulfill my goal and carry out my plan to exterminate all mortals of all ages and all universes. I can destroy everything just like I did with the planet Earth of this timeline. And now, I can destroy you." Goku looks at the wreckage of the planet and realizes what was happening. At that moment, he didn't know what else he could do, but he had to do something. His aura begins to expand. His power makes the entire solar system in that timeline shudder, and then Goku smiles. "I cannot believe. I won't forgive you for destroying the planet. I'll end you. This is the chance I've been waiting for to test how far my powers have come. Now I can find out what I'm capable of doing with this form I've achieved." Black responds with sarcasm. "Insignificant Saiyan traveled through all possible eras, transcended time. And I don't need to fight you now. I know what you want most right now is to fight me, but I won't give you that honor. Remember what I just said? I control the gods themselves now." Black opens his arms and a dark energy takes over everything around. Around him appear countless gods from different times, all gathered there. All of them were now puppets controlled by Black, who had become a god above all gods. Black then orders, "Kill him. I will not get my hands dirty, and I will not give you the satisfaction of facing me." Goku is startled and then remembers the words Zeno-sama said.
Goku, don't disappoint me. I trust you a lot, and I'm sure you'll be able to save all of this.
There, Goku begins to understand what the High Priest meant by calling him a god killer. His ki explodes and his energy starts to overflow. Black smiles and watches as he does. One of his puppets, a god of destruction, appears behind Goku holding him while several others advance towards him. Goku receives a few punches in his stomach and then an elbow to the head, throwing him away, facing another god who hits him with a punch. He was being hit from all directions and didn't even show a reaction. Black, looking at that scene, lowers his head and with a smile on his face says, "What a puny power you got. I will leave. I need to conquer other timelines. Son Goku, you will always be a disappointment. Goodbye." And surrounded by mysterious energy, a portal appears in front of him. Black walks slowly. When entering that portal, he disappears. Goku continues to be hit, being thrown from one side to the other until he slowly closes his fists and throws a punch, which hits one of the gods that attacked him. His attack was so powerful that it made the stars around him scattered across the universe to move. He dodges and then hits a knee on another of his enemies that simply disintegrates the overwhelming power that Goku possesses at that moment, makes the gods that surrounded him panic with such skill. They all go up to him at once, cornering him, making a circle that traps him. They stretch their arms, pointing their hands at Goku, and everyone says, "Hake!" Goku cannot understand how Black was there, how he managed to control the gods of various eras, what other skills he had achieved traveling through several different eras, and how big Black's true power was. Amidst various doubts and surrounded by hundreds of gods who wanted to end him, Goku closes his eyes, and at that moment, his body begins to emanate a light that causes those energies of destruction to begin to dissipate. One of the gods who was facing him begins to say, "Who is this guy? It can't be." And then Goku starts screaming and his energy spreads, causing all those gods to be thrown away in the infinite of space. He looks seriously at the empty space that was there, where once there was a planet Earth. At that moment, he says with hatred in his heart, "I will hunt and destroy you, and I will end every god you put in my path. I will meet you between dimensions, and I will cross time itself, but I swear I will end you." Suddenly, Goku feels his powers weakening, and then the glow surrounding his body begins to fade. He looks around and says, "What is happening? My powers are rapidly diminishing. I'll end up passing out and wandering around in space. I need to find some planet where I can recover my energies." Goku needed to make a plan to find out the whole truth about Black, who had just returned from the dead, and then head to a planet that was nearby. Supreme Palace of Black. Black sits on his throne, takes a deep breath, and looking at his army composed of angels and gods from countless timelines and realities says, "It's time to create my own reality, to become the one above all that ever was." All the angels and gods kneel, and he lets out a slight smile. A new Saiyan empire begins to form. While Goku was recovering on some unknown planet in a corner of the galaxy in the middle of the timeline number 4, a small planet populated by beings known as Saiyans, something interesting begins to happen. Prince Vegeta of that beautiful storm is crowned by the few survivors as king. The great King Vegeta, the king of a race in ruins, who upon being crowned would already have the mission to find survivors of his people who had come close to extinction. In this timeline, the Saiyans had not been attacked by Frieza because some events were different in that world, and the warrior race managed to unite against Frieza and stop him. Even though they suffered countless casualties, and shortly afterwards they would have met their end due to their own pride that caused their world to collapse, and the great warrior race that did not accept help from other peoples had their world completely ruined and destroyed by wars. Internal forces that made the few survivors needed to find a place where they would try to rebuild their empire. Vegeta on his throne watches his subjects waiting for him to make a decision, and at that moment Vegeta closes his eyes and after a sigh he screams,
Saiyans, you all trusted me, and to recover the glory of our people, and we will rise again finding the true power of the Saiyans. Prepare some ships and a group of warriors, and I personally will travel to find more survivors of the Saiyans. And when we manage to gather our army, we will return to be the most powerful beings in the universe.
Everyone begins to regain their hopes and trust in their king, and little by little, the Saiyan race intends to regain its pride. Meanwhile, wandering through space, some survivors of that planet Earth that Black had destroyed found themselves lost in a ship with a Capsule Corporation logo. There, some well-known figures were discussing what had happened. At that moment, we realized that some Z warriors were still alive in that timeline. Bulma, Piccolo, Gohan, Kuririn, and even Dende were among the survivors. Gohan, with eyes full of tears, says, "Those damned, they destroyed everything and we barely managed to escape. We barely managed to save some people." Piccolo puts his hand on his shoulder and says,
Don't worry, Gohan. We were lucky enough to have gathered the Dragon Balls before the world was attacked. And thanks to you, we were able to save Kami-sama from the Earth, and we will be able to get everything back to normal.
Bulma interrupts them saying,
Before we bring everything back, we need to find out what happened. We were very lucky this time. We were all gathered in the same place and we already had the Dragon Balls there with us. If it weren't for that, it would all be over.
Krillin, in a panic, gets up and screams,
Who were those damned ones? He had a flash, and there appeared several strange figures in the sky, that evil presence, and that voice. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm sure it was Goku's voice, saying that he would exterminate the Earth and all the beings that existed there.
Piccolo responds at that moment,
I have no doubt that it was Goku's voice, but I don't know who the beings with him were. I guess Goku was no longer with us, but I still can't believe he turned evil.
Gohan interrupts them saying, That wasn't my father. I know it wasn't. And that's why at that moment I said we needed to flee. That presence was something else, but it wasn't my father. I know that. Krillin then starts to blush and says,
But not everyone managed to reach Bulma's ship. Several of our friends exploded along with the Earth. It doesn't matter who the enemy is, but I will kill him with my own hands.
Black's Supreme Palace. Black sitting on his throne with all the angels and gods of destruction around him revering him, receives the news that Goku managed to escape after the attack he had received from several gods. Black starts laughing and says,
So he really got really powerful. He doesn't stand a chance against my army, let alone me.
At that moment, Black orders several angels and gods to approach and then begins to absorb the power of several angels and gods of destruction. An immense power begins to emerge, leaving the bodies all dry and empty. And then Black says,
I went through countless timelines and obtained various abilities, but the ability to control matter and absorb celestial energy is really very useful for my purpose.
Now, Black could consume celestial power, and that made him the most dangerous being of all conceivable timelines. After all, he had an army with hundreds of angels and gods and could absorb their energy at any time. Returning to the planet where Goku was recovering his strength, Goku is now in his base form drinking water from what looked like a river, and in his thoughts, he can't stop thinking about everything that was happening. With anguish in his chest, he says, I know that this is not my timeline, and that probably the me in this place doesn't even exist, but just imagining what happened to my friends, to my children, I start to get furious. At that moment, Goku feels a very distant power, a key that was familiar to him, and then Goku smiles and says, "Is it really him? His key is way off, but I'm sure it's him." Goku places his fingers on his forehead and closes his eyes and suddenly exclaims, "I found you!" and uses his teleportation. In Bulma's spaceship, everyone is hopelessly trying to find answers to all their questions without being able to understand what just happened. At that moment, Gohan feels a very powerful key and tells everyone, "Get ready!" And there, before their eyes, Goku appears. Goku, happy to find them, says, "I can't believe it's you guys. I knew it was Gohan's key." Gohan is filled with happiness and runs towards his father as he screams, "Daddy, it's you! This time it is you!" Gohan hugs Goku. Everyone is looking, trying to imagine how is it possible that Goku is there in front of him. And Goku, with an ironic tone, says, "What was it? It's like they've seen a ghost." Krillin yells saying,
What? So it's Goku's ghost? Please don't kill me. I don't want to die.
and then he kneels on the ground, begging the ghost not to take him into the depths. Goku starts laughing and everyone laughs too. Goku says, "Get up, my friend. I'm not a ghost, but I imagine that myself from this timeline has died. That's why you had this reaction." Goku's happy face disappears quickly and he looks seriously at his friends who stare at him, until Piccolo asks,
Goku, why are you looking at us like that?
and then Goku looks down with an expression of sadness and replies, "Is that? I'm starving." And he puts his hand on his stomach and sits on the floor desperately screaming. "I arrived here a few days ago and so far I haven't eaten anything. I can't take it anymore." Bulma punches Goku in the head, saying,
You idiot! Don't scare us like that.
Goku complains in pain. Oh, Bulma, you don't have to hit me like that." Bulma walks to a shelf next to the control panel in the center of the ship, presses a button that makes a small platform come out of the counter with some capsules. She takes 2 of them and throws them in front of her friends while saying,
It's time to eat, and in front of you, there is a feast.
Everyone is happy and excited, and Goku hurries to eat. For a moment, they managed to forget everything that was happening and began to eat to recover their strength, while everyone ate and for a brief moment put aside the previous events on the new planet of the Saiyans. Vegeta wore an outfit like his father's. One of his subjects approaches with the crown in his hand, saying,
My king, you forgot to wear your crown.
Vegeta responds rudely,
Insect, I don't need this thing to be the king of the Saiyans. I won't use such a thing. Just get this out of my face.
That Saiyan bows and is scared, starts to withdraw, taking the crown with him of the Saiyan king. Vegeta walks towards several other warriors who were lined up and says,
Now, we will go back to the place where the planet Vegeta was located. We will start looking for survivors in that region, and we will explore nearby planets to find other Saiyans who may be lost.
Everyone screams,
Yes, Your Majesty.
Vegeta enters a spaceship where some Saiyan warriors accompany him, and they take off and fly. The ship they are on is similar to the ship Frieza used, and Vegeta angrily says,
I have no choice. Even if I need to smell that Frieza worm, we will use his ship to look for more warriors.
In search of allies, Vegeta, the king of Saiyans, passing through the wreckage of his old planet looking for survivors. In order to make your people grow, to form an army and conquer more power, Vegeta doesn't find anything so far. It looks like there's nothing but wreckage. His warriors begin to question.
Majesty, how long will we look for nothing?
Vegeta says,
If some puny worm wants out, skirt, I don't need you.
No one dares challenge the king,
says his right-hand man, and then Vegeta answers,
You don't have to defend me, Raditz, or I'll kill you.
Raditz, a warrior no one trusted. They called him weak and useless, until Vegeta decides to give him a chance. Since then, Raditz has become the king's right-hand man. Far away in the middle of space, the King of Saiyan sees one of the moons of his former planet. Resolved to check out the survivors there, they then land the ship. They don an outfit which allows them to breathe outside and begin the search for some vestige of fighting power. Vegeta's scouter begins to detect an unusual power, but inferior to his. The king speaks at that moment.
It's not even worth seeing what it is.
But still, he decides to go check it out. Arriving at the place, Vegeta finds a warrior almost dead. Then he takes him to the ship and puts him in a recovery pod. 2 days pass until the warrior recovered completely. Some Saiyans called the king communicating that the Saiyan they had found had already awakened. Vegeta approaches and confronts him asking,
"What is your name, insect?"
And then he answers,
"I'm Nappa, an elite Saiyan warrior, survivor from planet Vegeta, after the Great War that destroyed everything, and my only goal is to kill you all, insignificant worms."
The king then, with a look of fury on his face, says,
"Why don't you recognize me?"
Nappa watches him seriously. Meanwhile, on Bulma's ship, Goku continues eating. After several days without food, he says, "Ah, Bulma, how delicious!" Bulma responds,
It's your impression, Goku.
and her face turns red, full of shame. Krillin exclaims,
What? Goku, how dare you say that?
Goku then embarrassed says, "I was talking about the food. It's been so long since I've had such good food." Everyone laughs. Gohan agrees with Goku and says, "It's really delicious." They continue to eat. Sometime later, Goku says, "There, I am satisfied. Now we need to talk." Everyone watches and Goku asks, "How are you still alive? Can someone explain to me? The whole planet was destroyed. How did they survive that?"
Calm down, Goku. I'll explain everything to you,
says Dende. Watching with a curious look, Goku asks, "But Dende, are you the Kami-sama of the Earth in this timeline too?" Dende answers,
Yes, when the Kami-sama of the Earth was about to die, Piccolo picked me up on Namek, and so I became the Kami-sama.
And then Goku is surprised, thinking out loud, "Really, some different happenings here, and others very similar to my timeline." Everyone is looking at him. Dende continues to say,
Now I will explain how we got here.
Goku agrees and everyone watches. And Dende continues,
We were all together celebrating Gohan's wedding. We then saw a light in the sky and a very powerful being, he had a voice similar to Goku, appeared saying that he would destroy everything. At that moment, Mr. Piccolo said that we should flee. We took the Dragon Balls that we had gathered for Gohan as a wedding present, and we brought it to Bulma's ship, and that's how we managed to escape.
Krillin interrupts saying,
But still, many of our friends were killed. We couldn't save everyone.
Gohan then says, "Let's rebuild the planet by ordering for Shenron and complete Piccolo. We'll do that when we find a safe place." At that moment, Goku looks on and Bulma asks,
Now you tell us, Goku, how did you get here? From what I see, you are not from this reality. In that timeline, you are long dead. And he didn't want to be revived by the Dragon Balls to continue training in the other world.
At that moment, Goku explains everything, telling the whole story up to that point, talking about gods, angels, Zeno, and everything that had happened in his timeline. He also tells about Black and that he had found him there in that reality and that they needed to stop him. Gohan in that second says, "Did you manage to get so powerful like that, Daddy? What does it mean to have achieved God Killer form?" Goku then responds, "You will know when you see it." Everyone feels a very evil energy approaching. They encounter an enemy that is rapidly approaching the ship. Bulma runs to the control panel so they can quickly get out of there. They flee towards the nearest planet. Bulma and the others get off the ship and start exploring the place. When they least expect it, they feel that same evil energy. And everyone is scared when a frightening figure appears. Goku asks, "Who are you?" The enemy remains silent and says nothing. Gohan says, "Leave it to me. I need to train a little so I don't get out of shape. He doesn't seem to be very strong." That being attacks Gohan, punching him in the face, sending him flying towards a rock. Gohan counterattacks using his Mazenko. He uses his speed to get closer, hitting him in the back, throwing it straight to the floor. The enemy gets up and goes to Gohan, saying he's going to kill him, releasing surprisingly dark ki, but they couldn't feel it. Gohan and the enemy engage in hand-to-hand combat, dealing several blows to each other. When Krillin decides to help, he throws his Kienzan. The enemy raises his hand holding Kirin's attack, throwing him back, hitting the Kareka, leaving him seriously injured. Bulma rushes to help. Goku sees that Gohan is having a hard time. At that moment, Goku says, "He is not just any enemy. Stand back. I'm going to use my God Killer transformation. If you are hit by my aura, you will be destroyed." And meanwhile, we go back to the palace of Black. Black is with his gods of destruction and angels, thinking about how to end the only thing that keeps you up at night, Goku. Black is absorbing the energy of one of his gods, smiling with an evil glare, saying,
"You will be next, Son Goku."
At that moment, he makes a decision and speaks.
"I will merge the powers of gods of destruction with the powers of angels, so I will create angels of death, and I will make them generals of my army. That way I can exponentially increase the power we've obtained."
On the other side of the universe, Goku and his friends continue to face that unknown being. Everyone watches from afar. Goku starts screaming, his aura expands and his power increases. His skin turns blue, his hair turns white, his aura and ki begin to calm down. Everyone looks at him as if they were facing a deity. At that moment, the enemy says,
"Is that all you can do? You weak, and the weak deserve to die."
The enemy attacks Goku, who narrowly manages to dodge it. The attack devastated part of the small planet, and the enemy smiles, saying,
"You're not as weak as I thought. Then I will help you."
On Vegeta's ship, the king continues to interrogate Nappa.
"I am Vegeta, the king and ruler of the Saiyan warrior race."
By saying this, he raises his ki, causing the entire ship to start shaking. Nappa goes into despair, seeing the magnitude of Vegeta's power. He kneels and says,
"Forgive me, your majesty."
Nappa realizes at that moment that he doesn't stand a chance against his king and decides to help him. Vegeta at that moment then says,
"The next time an insect like you decides to challenge me, I'll exterminate you."
Vegeta decides to continue his search for more Saiyans. A while later, still wandering through space, the Saiyans' ship is hit by a strange object that ends up damaging some parts of their ship, forcing them to land on a nearby planet. The king then commands his subjects,
"Work to fix the damage."
Meanwhile, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz leave the ship to find traces of what had been hit. Close to where they had landed, the three Saiyans find an ancient spaceship of their people, and Vegeta guesses,
"This must have been what hit us."
Raditz completes saying,
"That means that there are Saiyans nearby."
Meanwhile, somewhere in the galaxy, Goku and his friends face that unknown enemy and begin to discover who that person was.
"I am Heros, an ancient god of destruction."
Goku at that moment says, "So Black sent you to exterminate us, didn't he?" Heros then gets furious and says,
"I don't follow Black's orders. That bastard controls several angels and gods, but I rebelled and managed to escape. You arrived and made him let his guard down. That's why I managed to escape. When I saw your battle against the gods Black controls, I decided to join you to stop him."
Surprised Goku says, "If your intention was to help, why did you attack us?" Heros says,
"To be able to test your power, I never intended to kill them."
Goku responds, "You almost killed Krillin and Gohan. How do you want to help us if you're trying to kill us?" Heros then comes back to say,
"As I said, I didn't mean to kill them. If not, they would already be dead."
A new Saiyan Empire forms. In his search for Saiyan warriors, Vegeta is forced to land on an inhospitable planet due to an object that has caused some damage to his ship. Upon arriving on that planet, he finds a Saiyan space capsule. and they begin to search for any more survivors of their race when he feels a very strong energy. His scouter detects immense fighting power. He feels a frightening power of struggle. He decides to go after it to find out what it was about. The king calls Raditz and Nappa. The three of them go after the mysterious force. Arriving there, they're faced with a Saiyan, lost in that broken world. Vegeta says, "Who are you, Worm?" "My name is Broly," answers the Saiyan, and then asks, "And who are you?" "How dare you address the king directly? Have more respect or I'll kill you," says Raditz. "Calm down, Raditz, and only an insignificant insect speaks to the king." Broly asks, "King? What king?" Vegeta responds, "The king of the most powerful race in the universe." Seeing that Broly's powers were amazing, Vegeta says, "From now on, you will be part of my army." Broly ignores him, then remains silent. Raditz screams, "How dare you, insolent worm!" Vegeta asks Raditz to stay calm and continues to say, "You couldn't stand to face me. His powers are much greater than yours or any other Saiyan warrior. I will face him." Vegeta attacks Broly with several blows at incredible speed, which seems to have no effect. Broly starts to attack back and Vegeta couldn't defend himself. Vegeta realizes he didn't stand a chance against Broly, that starts hitting him with several attacks. Nappa and Raditz attack Broly in order to protect the king. Broly defends himself from several blows that are thrown at him and retaliates with several more blows. The three warriors are impressed by Broly's violence and brute strength. Vegeta wonders, how could such an insignificant low-class insect possess a power greater than mine? Vegeta concentrates all his ki to attack him. Broly realizes what the king is doing and takes the chance and uses his speed and fires at the king, giving a blow that hits his stomach, causing Vegeta to spit blood. "You goddamn cockroach," says Vegeta. "You worm! I'm going to finish you off!" Vegeta attacks several times and starts screaming, "I am the king! Bow before me!" "Broly, you don't understand anything!" Meanwhile, on another planet in the galaxy, the god of destruction decides to ally with the Z warriors. Goku, Piccolo, and the others decide to accept that being's help and decide to train to become stronger. But the planet where they are is small, and with the fight they had previously, they already destroyed part of it. So Piccolo suggests to them that they should go to his home planet. Bulma and Day agrees. So Bulma adjusts course and everyone goes to Namek. Planet Namek was relatively similar to planet Earth, the difference being that on Namek the water was clean, the air was clean, and the cities were clean, not polluted like Earth's. The journey to Piccolo's home planet begins. Meanwhile, the planet between Saiyans continues. Vegeta doesn't have enough strength to face that monster called Broly. Anything he tries to use is easily repelled. Vegeta was already out of options when he suddenly fell to the ground. And with eyes full of tears, he says, "Damn you! That's not possible! I am the king, a high-class warrior! My powers are unmatched!" Broly, seeing that scene, approaches and Vegeta continues to say, "I will not allow my race to be annihilated. I swore to all my subjects that I would find survivors and that we could rebuild the Saiyan Empire." At that moment, Broly starts to feel his Saiyan spirit differently. Seeing his king on the ground, something touched Broly's feelings, and Broly then says, "For as long as I can remember, I've been lost on this planet. My father, Paragus, died a long time ago, and I was left here, alone, without a family, without friends, with nothing but myself. I don't know what empire you're talking about, or what warrior race is this you're sworn to protect. I just know that something about you makes me feel like I'm not alone anymore." At that moment, Nappa and Raditz observe and manage to see that their king is Vegeta. The proudest Saiyan to ever exist loves his people. In his own way, he loved everyone, and that he was willing to swallow his own pride to defend them, and that nothing could stop him from doing anything possible to regain the glory of the Saiyans. At that moment, the two soldiers kneel in front of the king and Raditz says, "Majesty, forgive us. we will become strong, stronger than anyone. We will be the most powerful warriors in the universe. And together we will be able to rebuild the Saiyan Empire. This is our oath before the king. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Black, who had already merged angels and gods, creating his generals. These will be my frontline warriors and then the most powerful beings in the universe. Their gods of death possessed incredible powerful abilities. The mix of angels and gods of destruction was unimaginable. One of the newly created beings approaches and says, "The Lord made us more powerful. Our powers are incredible. Now no one will have a chance to face us." Black, with a sadistic smile, says, "This is just the beginning for them. I intend to become the ruler of the universe of all dimensions, and all of you will be part of my reign, where there will be no more mortals and all inferior races will be annihilated. And it all came down to me, the most perfect being that could exist. This will be majestic. This will be beautiful." His angels, gods of destruction, and his new general shouted long life to the ruler of all universes. Black's plan was to become the one above all that exists, and all of his servants who were incredibly powerful were ecstatic with his ambition and would help him achieve such an evil goal. Inside Bulma's ship, Goku approaches Krillin and the two start talking. Goku then asks, "What do you hear with Goku from this reality?" Krillin responds, "He died a long time ago after we faced the Saiyans who attacked the Earth. Several enemies appeared and they became incredibly powerful, but it didn't last long. He had a very serious heart disease and ended up dying. We tried to revive him with the Dragon Balls, but..." At that moment, Goku asks, "But?" And Krillin continues, "But he was no longer in the other world. He had disappeared from there and we couldn't find him. Mr. Kaio said that he had gone to another place to train, and before we could make the request for Sherong, Mr. Kaio told us that Goku had asked us not to revive him yet, that we were supposed to wait 2 years, and when we placed the order, he still couldn't come back because he would be training in a place where we wouldn't be easy to come back." Goku is confused and says, "Wow, it looks like your Goku is more complicated than me." "But I'm sure if he says he'd come back, one day, he will come back." Goku responds, "I hope so. Gohan and his mother were alone all this time. And Gohan became an amazing warrior, but without Goku, we had a lot of problems, and we all missed you. I mean, him." Goku gets emotional and very affectionate. He hugs Krillin and says, "You're an amazing friend, Krillin. Thank you so much for not giving up on me. Or rather the Goku of this reality. He's lucky to be friends with you." Back to the Saiyans. Broly looks at everyone there and says, "I'll join you." He kneels down and at that moment becomes a great warrior again, a really powerful Saiyan. The great King Vegeta had recruited someone splendid and was closer to achieving his goal. But the king didn't know if recruiting Broly was a good idea. After all, Broly's powers were amazing. And with these doubts, they continued their trajectory. King Vegeta was amazed, as he had found a Saiyan warrior with powers greater than his. Even without wanting to invite him to be part of his army, Broly had no choice because he had no family, friends, nobody. So he accepted. Vegeta manages to gather some Saiyan's race warriors, but it was not enough to have the most powerful army in the universe. Then he had a brilliant idea and he said, "A long time ago, before the collapse of planet Vegeta, I heard about a planet called Namek. There is a mysterious power there, where we can make any wish come true. If we go there and find it, with that power we can revive all the Saiyan warriors and thus rebuild our Vegeta Empire. Then laugh!" Then it was decided to gather all the forces they have and go to Namek. Meanwhile in Namek, the Z warriors were impressed to see Piccolo's planet and how different everything was from what they used to. Piccolo then says, "Here we will be able to train more freely and find some warriors to join our cause." Everyone agrees, and at that moment Goku says, "Piccolo, I have an idea.
While Gohan, Curly, and the others are training, you and I can go after some inhabitants so we can solve the problem. Piccolo agrees. At that moment, in another corner of the galaxy, Black and his warriors come across a spaceship. Frieza's spaceship that Vegeta was using. Black then says, "Oh my, what have we here?" Seems like in this reality that miserable, disgusting Vegeta became the king. Inside the ship, in the main room in front of the control panel, Vegeta watched through the window and sees Black and his entire army. And so he says, "What is this?" At that moment, Black looks at the bird and gives orders to his subordinates. Kill them all. Black raises his hand and begins to create an energy sphere. Vegeta screams to his Saiyans, "He'll kill us all! Everyone get into the space pods now!" Several Saiyans enter space capsules in order to escape the attacks. Vegeta also enters one of the capsules, and everyone would go to Namek. Some of the Saiyans are caught in the attacks, but most manage to escape. However, the ship they were using was completely destroyed. Some Saiyans sacrificed themselves to save the king, and others managed to accompany them. Black, after eliminating several Saiyans, starts to laugh. "It's no use trying to escape my minions. They are too much for you, Saiyans." Black watches as the Saiyans run away. Then he says, "I will eliminate each and every one of you." In Namek, Goku and Piccolo find a village of inhabitants, where they manage to talk to the Great Patriarch and explain everything that was happening. At this moment, the Great Patriarch gives them good news, saying, "Don't worry. We have some villages nearby where some members of the Namek warrior race live. Very powerful warriors who help to face these cruel enemies. We will gather the Namek Dread Spheres to protect them. And on this planet, you will be able to train freely." Piccolo starts to smile and he thanks the Great Patriarch. At that moment, Goku feels the key of Gohan and his friends and says, "I'll go to Gohan and the others to bring them here. Then I will go after the Namek warriors to call them for help." And the Great Patriarch says, "Don't worry, Goku. I've already talked to all of them using my telepathy. And I've already told them everything. They are preparing themselves to come here. So now you just need to find your friends and bring them here too. They'll be safer here." Goku responds, "Thank you very much, sir." He puts his finger on his forehead and teleports away. Somewhere in the galaxy inside his space pod, an angry Vegeta says, "Damn, that damn thing appeared out of nowhere and destroyed the ships and several Saiyans. Who was that thing? And where did it get so much power?" Vegeta uses Scouter to contact Raditz and he says, "Get in touch with all the capsules and talk to all the surviving warriors. The plan remains the same. Let's go to Namek in search of the spheres. Then we kill that bastard." "Yes, your majesty." After that, Raditz communicates with all the Saiyans and everyone continues at full speed in direction to Namek. Black with his servants was simply roaming the space and looking around. Black then calls one of his generals and says, "I want you to find out right away where they all went." And so they go after. Black remembers something that makes him happy. And he says, thought out loud, "At least I managed to seal Zeno's father and the other gods from this reality. Otherwise I would have problems." Lucky for me, they were all gathered in Zeno's palace, so it was much easier to arrest them all at once. One of Black's Angel of Death approaches and says, "Master, I came to inform you that I located the fugitives. They are all heading to a planet called Namek, which is not so far from here." Black says, "Great, we'll go after them." His servants continue to say, "Sir, we have information that Goku was going there." Black then starts laughing. "Good! Perfect! I will eliminate all this rubbish at once. Prepare all the angels and demon gods and generals. Let the war begin!" Back in Namek, everyone is already gathered. Goku and his friends, the Namekians, and all the inhabitant warriors. Goku gets excited and says excitedly, "There are a lot of people here than I thought. I guess we'll have a fighting chance with that bastard." At this moment, Goku looks up and sees countless Saiyan space capsules arriving at the planet. Everyone gets scared and doesn't understand what's going on. Goku feels a familiar key and says, "That's Vegeta's key! With him together in the battle, our chances would certainly be much greater." Curling asks fearfully, "Vegeta, Is that the cursed one that almost destroyed the Earth? I mean, the one that Goku of our reality managed to defeat? And then Goku responds, yes, that's him. So it means that your Goku also leaves Vegeta alive. And Krillin says, yes, Goku let him go after expelling him from Earth. Goku then speaks to everyone. I'll go talk to him, and he will help us. That way, we can win. Using his teleportation, Goku goes to this place where the Saiyans landed and finds a new dozen warriors along with Vegeta. Goku looks at Vegeta and screams from afar, "Hey, Vegeta!" The king, when listening, does not understand what is happening. He observes and says, "Who is that insolent insect?" Goku goes to Vegeta and says, "Good to see you, buddy. I'm really happy to see you're alive here too. But it looks like you're a lot weaker than I remembered." Vegeta, with his furious gaze, looks at Goku and says, "How dare you be alive, and how dare you talk like that to the great King Vegeta?" Impressed, Goku says, "Wait, are you king?" At that moment, Goku is faced with something that leaves him surprised and screams, "Raditz, you're alive!" A furious Raditz approaches, grabbing Goku by the collar and says, "Kakarot, you fool! What do you mean when you ask me if I'm alive? Are you deranged? When Vegeta and I arrived on Earth to look for you, you managed to beat us and we left. Don't you remember?" Goku responds, "Oh, yeah, got it. Okay, so, let me explain to you what's going on." After Goku explained everything that was happening and clarified that he wasn't Goku from that reality, everything started to make sense, because even if some events were similar, several things were different, so everything started to clear up. Vegeta couldn't believe everything he heard, but being a proud warrior of his race, he was happy to learn how powerful he could become. Obtaining the power of a Super Saiyan, surpassing these limits and elevating even more until reaching an almost godlike power. Even after listening to everything Goku had said, the king refuses to reunite with him. Goku then uses the following arguments. "Vegeta, if you are the Saiyan warriors, then don't join us, and you will all be exterminated. And then the great warrior race will be just another weak species, which he extinguished." At that moment, Vegeta looks around, and when he sees the look of all his people, he responds, "Alright, Kakarot, I'll join you, and all the Saiyan warriors will go to battle." At that moment, everyone who could fight had joined Goku Godkiller. Now he had an army composed of Earthlings, Saiyans, and Namekians, and so hopes were restored. The final moment of the battle is approaching. The war between good and evil is closer, and the fate was sealed.
On planet Namek, all warriors were finally gathered. The side of good had its army. Vegeta, even though he doesn't agree with Goku's ideas, he joined him, and everyone had new hope. And so they began to prepare themselves for what would come next. All Namekians who were not part of the warriors went to a safe place, which was not so far. All the warriors or people who could fight were willing to contribute. And right now, they were just waiting for the inevitable confrontation. And Gohan and Piccolo talked, trying to escape the problems. They talked about the life they once had, and on what they dreamed of being able to live. A few hours pass, and finally the fateful moment arrives. And Goku looks at the sky. He can see Black standing surrounded by an army of thousands of powerful beings. Everyone gathers to Goku's side as Black and his army land. At this moment, two armies were facing each other, and Black shouts for his warriors to listen. "Get ready! I have no mercy! Exterminate everyone, and the universe will be ours!" Goku, besides his friends, looks at Vegeta and says, "Your Majesty, I have never admitted how much I admire you. I know we have our differences, but we are both Saiyans, and I hope that now you will stand by my side, and that you give your all so that we can protect all the good people that are here." Gohan approaches and yells, "Do not give up! Be strong, and we will not let evil prevail." At that moment, the two armies run towards each other. Namekian Saiyans fly towards enemies, and a devastating battle ensues. The gods and angels controlled by Black are much more powerful. The gods and angels controlled by Black are much more powerful than the Namekians, more powerful than Saiyans, more powerful than human beings. However, several strategies were created so that the battle was not so unequal. Eros, The god of destruction who had turned to the side of good had revealed a secret that would make all the difference. Hours before, Eros tells all the warriors that he was a Namek.
Gods of destructions and angels are extremely powerful, but if we want to stand a chance, we'll have to face it. So I decided to tell you something, that in the Supreme Planet, there are countless mountain mineral composite that is capable of nullifying the destructive powers of a god. And with that mineral, we could create weapons, and maybe we would stand a chance. The Supreme Planet is a world where the Supreme Kaio Lord lives. And at the beginning of everything during creation, the Great One, Hajimari Toawari, while creating the universe, he decided that to avoid a rebellion by the gods of destruction, he would create this planet with this mineral.
With this revelation, everyone went to the Supreme Planet and could create weapons like spears, arrows, swords, in a way that they would be in par with the gods. During the battle, we see several casualties in both sides. Goku charges directly at Black. In a devastating battle immediately ensues Goku. He turns into a god killer, raising his powers to the maximum in the battlefield. Everyone looks in awe at that power, and that aura was extremely unbelievable. They feel an incredibly strong heat emanating in Goku. Goku and Black are confronted with attacks that destroy mountains. Countless portals opens in the sky. The battle remains extremely incredible. Portals open in the sky with countless angels. They appear using ki blasts while the warriors who are on the ground are hit. Gohan raises his power and flies and starts shooting keys towards the enemies. Piccolo accompanies him, while the Namekian warriors attack the gods with their spears made with purple from the Supreme Planet. They manage to weaken the enemies, but several Namekians are killed, others are erased. And the battle continues to be devastating explosions happening everywhere. We see the sky darkens and bodies of gods and mortals scattered everywhere. At that moment, we see Piccolo having his chest pierced by a god of destruction. That, in a brutal scene, hits a blast of energy disintegrating, and Piccolo dies. Gohan, who was facing an enemy, looks back and sees Piccolo being defeated and simply screams, "Mr. Piccolo!" At that moment, he is attacked from behind and Goku also dies. Countless gods and mortals end up being killed during this battle. Everything becomes a massacre. Vegeta was given his all in battle, flying through all the fights while pummeling her enemies. An incredible sequence of blows. In exchange of punches and kicks, Nappa uses his brute strength to throw enemies. And Raditz for hand-to-hand combat using his weapons made with purple from the Supreme Planet to eliminate his enemies. Several Saiyans had been defeated. Vegeta was already starting to feel incredibly furious to see more of his people being cruelly annihilated. Vegeta screamed, "You damn fools! I am the great king of Vegeta, and I will annihilate them one by one!" Elevating all his power and creating a gigantic explosion. An intense glow takes over everything. In another corner of the battle, we see Krillin being defeated and falls to the ground. There have already been countless casualties on the side of the good, gradually and defeated. What can be done is amid so much devastation where only despair takes over. Everything happens quickly, and for those in the middle of the battle, it seems to take forever. Raditz is hit by attacks from all sides, and several parts of his body are destroyed, and he is pulverized by a Hakai. The battle comes close to where the people who would not fight in that battle were. Some Earthlings and other people who weren't warriors. Goku attacked Black with all his strength, and at that moment he says, "I will not allow you to go destroy everything!" Black quickly flies and hits Goku. Black's powers are on another level, but Goku can match him. Looking down, Goku sees all the destruction that the battle causes. This instant, Goku sees Vegeta being killed. Nappa and other countless Saiyans were also defeated. The battle is lost. After all the destruction had already taken care of everything, Goku had already lost all hope. At that moment, Black manages to find Eros in the middle of the battle. He was being defeated by one of the Black's generals, an angel of death. And then Black says, "Bring him to me." Black grabs Eros by the neck as he soars into the air in front of Goku, then says, "This is a traitor.
And this is what happens to traitors! And rips off the god's head, annihilating him. Goku drops to his knees and looks around and can see everyone who helped him had been defeated or was being annihilated, even those who weren't warriors. And looking to the sides, Goku finds a backpack. It was Bulma's backpack that had the Earth's Dragon Balls, and Goku takes them. He concentrates and feels the key of the great Namek Patriarch, who as well weakened, and teleports there. When meeting the great Patriarch, Goku says, "I found the Dragon Balls of the Earth. All have already been defeated. We can fix everything with this, can't we?" The great Patriarch answers, "Maybe. It's not possible, but you can try. If perhaps he manages to fuse the powers of the Earth with those of Namek, yeah, he can make this whole end." Goku closes his eyes and says, "We have no other choice." The Great Patriarch then hands him the Namek spheres. Goku, with his teleportation, goes to a place farther from the battlefield. And there, he puts all 14 spheres together, and saying the words which is the Great Patriarch has instructed him to say, "Great dragons, unite and deliver me from my torments, filth in the midst of this time of need, and help me achieve my desires." All spheres unite, thus creating just one, a large sphere much larger than all the others before it. And suddenly, at that moment, another Goku appears in front of the God Killer. How surprised, he says. "Whoa, what the? But you're me!" And Goku, who just came out of the sphere, says, "I was in the dragon world. While here, everyone thought I was dead. I was there trying to find a way out." Goku God Killer sees that the other Goku already knew everything that was happening. After all, the look of sadness was stamped on his face. That Goku says, "I got to see everything that happened." And by merging the spheres, a portal between these dimensions were created. And I'm here now. Goku God Killer says, "Together, we can get everything back to normal." And Goku of the sphere says, "No, we're not going to be able to do that. You haven't realized yet, but Black has created a seal on you that will prevent you from returning to your world. And the same seal he used to imprison Zeno-sama and other mighty gods. Zeno's great father in an eternal prison. And now, that reality is also yours, and it's all over for us." Goku just closes his eyes and says, I understand." The two Gokus find themselves in an enormous sadness, when suddenly they hear a voice saying, "Lords Gokus, maybe you can change everything." Goku God Killer looks around and asks, "Who's there?" And the voice answers, "I am Zarama, the dragon god who created the Super Dragon Balls. And seeing all this destruction, I sacrificed myself so that you can get some of my power. That way, you can merge and you can become a deity, the most powerful deity that ever existed. And you can fix everything." God Killer and the other Goku stare seriously at each other. And Zarama says, "You will be trapped in this reality, but you will have unimaginable powers. And you will be able to do something by becoming one. Do you accept it?" The two look at each other and answer, "Yes, yes." At that moment, Zarama sacrifices himself, and the power passed to them that in moments began to emerge, thus becoming a god. Having your skin silver and the powers virtually infinite, they became one, and so they returned to the presence of Black. Interesting. Who the hell are you? Goku replies, "I'm the cure of the disease you've become, and now I will purify everything." Goku, without thinking about anything else, raises his hand and closes it. Everything just gets erased. Goku has just erased the existence of that reality and has just single-handedly caused everything to be erased from existence. And in the midst of darkness, Goku with his impressive form just wanders through infinity. Far away, also lost in the darkness, we see Zeno-sama, his father, and some of the other gods who, because they were sealed, would be able to escape. And they wonder what just happened. Some time passes, and Goku gets tired of wandering alone through the immensity of infinity. And in that moment he decides, From today on, there will be a new reality, and they will be sovereign. And Goku gets tired of wandering alone through the immensity of infinity. And at that moment he decides, from today on, there will be a new reality, and he will be sovereign. And as he opened his hands in front of them, a new reality filled with the universe begins to emerge, and everything that had just been erased and ceased to exist, now he would have another chance to renew himself. And so the story gets a fresh start. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just silence. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness, until out of darkness came light. And it was good. From the silence came the sound, and it was good. And out of nowhere there was the beginning of an infinite without end. And it was good. And from good came evil, so that there was balance. For without the shadows there would be no light, and it was good. And so the universe was born, and thanks to that sovereign creator of everything, life was born. And with life, the story begins. And with just a breath of light, in the midst of vast darkness, a new universe, a new reality will be just born. And Goku, after losing everything he thought he could save, caused everything to be lost, and after ages, it made everything appear again. And now he was the sovereign of all. Or at least he thought he would be. In a newly created universe that did not even have a name, the supreme gods of the cosmos awakened. The eternal entities that exist and will always exist awakened from their longest slumber. Eternity, time, infinity, death, judgment, creation, reality, chaos, space. They all arise together with Zeno and his father, Hajimari Toawari, the beginning and end. These entities reappear in any universe that would just be born because they are infinite. Beyond our Goku, believed to be the only existing entity of this universe. And so everything begins, an infinite cycle where he will become a sovereign entity. And in that way, he decided to create something else. In the midst of the empty space, everything restarts and life begins again. Several planets and several species, several people appear, and then the most awaited planet, Earth, appears. Goku feels instant relief. But at this moment, it was not yet time to return. Meanwhile, the old gods began to resurface. After the natural order of all creation had been changed, much time passed, and after the pillars of creation were rebuilt, Goku continues wandering through the vastness when suddenly the ancient gods appear in front of him. Time and creation and reality. At this moment, a dialogue begins. Time tells, "You changed the time, and reality continues. You have altered reality and complete creation. You wanted to become the creator, and so we decided to punish you." And Goku says, "Where did you come from? After all, I deleted everything, and you could not exist." And so time tells, "In another reality, we were sealed, but we are eternal and will always rise again, for we always exist. When you rebuild the universe, you set us free. You rebuild everything but the seal. You didn't know we existed, and there are many more, and that was your mistake." Reality then says, "And now, you will be punished." The three ancient gods then raise their hands, and then at the same time, their eyes start to glow. And so they say, "You came from dust, and to dust you will return, and then you will rise again, and everything will be rewritten." At this moment, Goku Beyonder looks at his hand and sees them dissolve into dust. Time then says, "We can't take away their powers, but we'll put them to sleep. And you won't be a threat to us for now because we are sovereign. But one day, we will have to stop it." Time then tells, "His story regressed
reality says,
Memories of him were erased, so you don't remember the reality you built.
creation says,
And I will recreate it for you to be reborn and one day see that we are above all.
Goku Beyonder begins to crumble, becoming a dust of energy that travels through time and its glow fades. And at this very moment he is reborn. In the midst of a universe on a distant planet, a cry is heard. Kakarot was born. Kakarot is born on a planet called Planet Vegeta, the world of Saiyans, who is attacked by an evil monster called Frieza, the Emperor of the Universe. Kakarot inside a space capsule would be sent to a small blue planet called Earth, plus his father Bardock and his mother Gimme. They bid farewell to their little boy and send him ashore. The planet Vegeta and is destroyed and becomes cosmic dusts. In Kakarot land, he's given the name of Goku. Gohan's grandson, Goku made many friends and lived many adventures. Some enemies became friends. He fought survivors from his home planet. He defeated the great evil emperor, faced many powerful androids. He fought demons, took care of his family, and his enemy children became friends, and history took its natural course, just as creation and destiny had written. But not everything would be so simple. Destiny saved something for that reality, and so the ancient gods reappear. Goku and his friends become Earth's defenders. On a certain day, a god wakes up and goes looking for a legend that the ancients were proud of. The story of a good being who got rid of evil, being who was called God, a Super Saiyan God. But at that moment, the differences begin to appear that God was no longer the great and powerful Beerus, but yes, one of the ancient gods. More specifically, it was called Judgment. The god who judged the worlds to know if that world would live or simply disappear. This god was extremely powerful and was accompanied by an angel called Whis. At this moment, in the present time, the god thought of going after Goku, who, as always, grew stronger. After all, Goku might know something about the Super Saiyan God. However, the god knew that the one who is called Son Goku was really strong, as he knew exactly where to find him. But before going in search of Goku, he decides to meet with his brothers, the ancient gods. All the gods gathered to decide if this is the right time to stop Goku, or they would have to wait a little longer. Palace of the Gods. In the confines of the universe lost amidst of the darkness of the infinite immensity of the cosmos, a great hall is shown. In this hall, we can observe 12 thrones where the ancient sovereign gods of all universe were all gathered there. At that moment, reality speaks.
Goku grew up to be extremely powerful. What should we do about it?
Time responds.
Is this the time to stop him? After all, he is the only threat to us. If he goes beyond her again, we could have problems.
Chaos starts laughing and says, "Don't say such a thing. It will never be a threat. And if he goes back to what he was, we'll just have to beat him again." Reality responds.
You really believe it would be that simple? We couldn't even get rid of him. After all, in a way, he's great creator of everything.
Space then starts to say,
Brothers, calm down. None of this is such a serious problem. We just need to let him know that we are the sovereigns of everything. And right now, he's not strong enough to stop us now.
At that time, the mood changes as Infinity adds an important point to the question when saying,
Brothers, you all know we've made his powers lie dormant, but all the powers he possesses are a portion of ourselves, the 12 ancient gods. So the probability that if we face him, he can recover everything we took from him, and remember, that would be a very high risk, don't you know?
Chaos pronounced at that moment and say, "There's only one thing we can do, brothers." Everyone watches closely to know what Chaos plan he imagined. And he continues, "We must send someone who can test it, and then we will know whether to act or wait. However, it has the possibility that he will be killed by whoever we sent. And so already in the book stories of the problem at once, creation then begins to say,
But who shall we send? Or will any of us face it?
Chaos responds, "Don't worry, I have a plan. We can use our power to create someone. We can create an entity that has parts of our powers. That way we'll have the perfect median." Everyone agrees and decides to go along with the plan. And at this moment, everyone looks towards the center of the hall. A great energy begins to emanate, and everyone points to the middle of the room using their index finger. An intense glow takes care of everything, and from the middle of the night, a being appears. Possessors of all energy, the union of all gods create the one who's destined to face Goku, and decides that what his identity would be. A being of light had been created, a pure soul without wanting to know how to distinguish between evil and good. At that moment, we see the appearance of that being. A young appearance with a thin body, dark skin, and dark hair. A being of light and energy who had in his hands the fate of Goku or the fate of the ancient gods themselves. A new reality, a new universe. Goku and the others are gathering on Earth, celebrating Bulma's birthday. Goku is looking forward to training with Vegeta and the others. But Chi-Chi and Bulma are irritated because Vegeta and Goku only know how to train and don't care about anything else. Everyone is happy and everything is at peace. But in the supreme realm of the ancient gods, they were still gathered and finished creating the great warrior with the intention of going after Goku. Chaos laughs. Finally, here is the most powerful warrior. He will show us the king's powers of Goku this time, and everything will be much easier. Reality says,
Don't be so happy, Chaos. After all, he can be defeated.
Chaos responds, "It is impossible. Our creation is perfect." Back on planet Earth, everyone is celebrating curling with his daughter, and number 18 was admiring. Bulma would draw as a prize for a bingo she had prepared. The television was on and some programs were playing. Number 18 says,
Curling, look at the size of this television. Must be about 300 inches.
Curling responds,
It's a movie screen.
At this moment, they are interrupted because something interesting starts to show on the television. An announcement of a martial arts tournament celebrating 5 years since the great hero of Earth, Mr. Satan, defeated the great Majin Buu. The narrator says, "After 5 years that the great Mr. Satan saved us from the evil wizard Babidi and the demon Majin Buu, the country's government is organizing a great martial arts tournament with the most powerful warriors on the planet." At this moment, Goku and the others gather around the television. They were extremely happy with the ad. Goku at that moment says, "Wow, what an amazing tournament! I haven't fought in a tournament in a long time. I'll definitely participate." Goku then asks Krillin, "And Krillin, you're going to participate too, right?" Krillin says, Goku, if number 18 doesn't mind, I will." At this moment, the television narrator says, "The winner of the tournament will win an incredible 5 million yen prize." At this moment, ecstatic with the value of the prize, number 18, she holds Krillin's shoulders and says, "But of course you're going to go, Krillin." The narrator goes on to say, "No age or gender limit for participants. And the finalists will face the great Mr. Satan to try to win the title of world champion." At this moment, Mr. Satan enters the scene, taking the narrator's microphone and says, "That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to face the great world champion. And even if they are defeated by me, they will still receive a prize worth 2 million yen. Everyone is excited, and all the Z Warriors that are there decide to participate. Gohan next to Videl tells her, "Videl, so that was the important announcement that her father said he had to make today." She answers, "Yes, that's why he couldn't come with us." Chi-Chi gets irritated because she knows that now Goku will only care about training until the day of the tournament. In the realm of the ancient gods, the gods continue to argue. Creation says, "Now we already have a warrior, but how will we do it? We will ship it right away." And then for the first time, the goddess of death speaks up and says, "From what I see on the planet where Goku is, there will be a martial arts tournament in 10 days.
We could send him to Earth and have him participate, and he ends up facing Goku at some point. And it will be quite fun to follow a mortal tournament, don't you think?
Everyone agrees and it's decided. Meanwhile, we can see near the table where the two gigantic cubes are gathered. At that instant, Judgment says, "What are we going to do with those two over there in the meantime?" While pointing to the cube. Space then responds,
Those are Zeno-sama and his father. They didn't agree with our ideals and we had to arrest them. We can keep them that way until we manage to kill Son Goku. Then we got rid of them too.
Order, the god who had the need to keep everything in its place, says, "We have already resolved several issues, but there's one more." Judgment questions, "Which is?" And she responds,
What name are we going to give our champion?
Everyone starts to reflect while looking at the being standing in front of them in silence. A few minutes go by and they can't decide until Creation has an idea and says,
Brothers, we all pulled our powers to create it. We made a pure being that contains part of each of us. So I think it would be more correct to call it Danketsu, which means union. That is, we all come together to create something that is capable of achieving our goals. What do you think?
Everyone likes the name and agrees with the idea. So Reality says, "Approach."
Danketsu.
He starts to approach. When he gets to him, he says,
We created you, and you will have a mission.
"And you are the only one who can fulfill this mission, which is to annihilate Beyonder Goku." Back on Earth, everyone is excited because it's been a long time since there was a martial arts tournament. Even Goten and Trunks decide to participate. Vegeta accepts as it is the chance to defeat Goku and Piccolo. Gohan is excited and even Videl is feeling like being part of it. But right now she can't because she's pregnant and expecting Gohan's baby. Videl gets sad and says,
I wanted to participate too, but everyone is going and I won't be able to go because I'm pregnant.
Gohan says, "Don't worry, my love. You will be able to cheer for me and be with me all the time."
It won't be the same, but it will be amazing. I can't wait to fight again.
Everyone is happy, but there are still 10 days left for the tournament to start, so they decide to train to be prepared for the fights. Gohan asks Piccolo if he wants to train with him, but Piccolo responds, "Gohan, this time we can be enemies in the tournament, so I think we better train alone." Goku then says, "Gohan, I don't see a problem with having someone to train with. Why do you think about training together? It's been a long time since you and I spent time together." Gohan smiles and replies, "Of course, Dad. It will be amazing. Let's try our best." Vegeta says to Bulma, "Hey Bulma, I'm going to train alone somewhere. Maybe I'll take a few days to get back." Bulma then responds,
Of course, Vegeta. You always do that and leave your beautiful wife here all alone.
Vegeta is embarrassed with flushed cheek and flies off at high speed. Krillin and number 18 are going to train together. Trunks and Goten starts training right there. Piccolo says goodbye and also leaves. All the warriors who will participate decide to train immediately. Bulma is sad and Chi-Chi approaches her. Both of them are downcast. And Bulma says,
Everyone left and forgot it's my birthday.
Chi-Chi answers,
Yeah, they're like that. They always leave us and go train.
In Mr. Satan's house, the great hero of the earth is hiding under the bed, shaking with fear. The kind Boo who was with him pulls him by the legs and asks,
What happened, Mr. Satan?
And Mr. Satan says, "This tournament, I'm sure Goku and the others will participate in. I don't want to fight them." Majin Buu then says,
Don't worry, I will too. This way I will defeat them all, and when I fight, I can let you win.
Mr. Satan is happy, gives Majin Buu a big hug, who smiles and says,
Blood Satan, now I'm hungry.
Mr. Satan runs from one side to the other saying, "Calm down, Mr. Buu, I'll get you something delicious." Gohan and Goku arrive at an island located in the northern region of the mountains and decide that there's a good place to train. And they decide to start right away. But Goku looks at Gohan and says, "Son, it's been a while since we faced each other, but don't go thinking I'll hold back." Gohan says, "Of course, Dad. Come with full strength." At this moment, the two take a deep breath, close their eyes, and clench their fists. Goku opens his eyes and says to Gohan, "Now!" Gohan responds, "Come." The two transform into Super Saiyans, and the battle will begin. A great shaking in the palace of the High Priestess Sakai occurs. Goku grew his ki more and more. Kai, the strongest angel, says,
So you're the famous son Goku. I'm happy to have found you, but at the same time, I'm sad.
Goku watches and says, "What a strange guy. What are you talking about? Sad? Afraid of being humiliated by a mortal?"
Kai responds.
I am happy that I can put an end to you now, and saddened that you're moving mountains to save your third son gone, and you still can't get past me.
Goku begins to get furious and the entire palace of the High Priestess begins to shake. The Saiyan's muscle mass begins to increase, causing his muscles to grow in a similar way to Broly and then return to normal. Goku, with a serious face, responds.
Strongest angel.
Your powers are nothing compared to Mr. Whis. Goku teleports and hits Kai's belly with a big punch. Kai falls, kneels on the ground and says,
What was this?
Goku walks in front of Kai and says, my training in the room of the gods was done precisely to finish off weaklings like you. Get out of my way if you don't want to have the same end as Bazara Tenzaki. Kai, lying on the ground, says,
No, that's impossible. How did you hit me? Damn it, it hurts so much. What an incredible power.
Goku was confident that Kai would not be able to stand up until the moment Kai says,
It cannot be.
just kidding.
Too weak.
Kai teleports in front of Goku, activating his ultra-angelic instinct and grabbed Goku's head, dragging him to the ground and throwing him away. Kai, with a totally serious face, looks at Goku and says,
Quit kidding yourself too, and let's get started.
Big explosion happened on the battlefield, starts to get more and more intense. Big stars appear. Whis and Vados had been having their battle against Zakai. Whis, with great dexterity and mastery, dodged all of Zakai's attacks. Zakai says,
Oh, interesting, Whis.
You managed to dodge my attacks. You don't even look like the same angel who had been defeated by Xiao at the beginning of the war. It looks like you've learned to defend yourself against the energy that seals the power of the angels. At that moment, Zalama just watches the battle and says in his mind,
2 angels against Zakai.
The mother of angels really is cheeky, although we shouldn't worry since the mother of the angels has the power equal to the power of the Daishikan. So those lesser angels won't be a problem for you, won't it, Zakai? At that moment, Zalama and Zakai are impressed. A great light appears over Whis' body. Whis begins to raise his power.
Ah! Me being defeated by Xiao.
Flashback of the planet Beerus at the start of the Celestial War. Beerus says, Whis, you can tell that they're very close from here, can't you? I'm sure he'll be able to come after us. If we show our real powers, the enemy will have an advantage over everything. Maybe it would be better for us to let ourselves be defeated by them, and that way we'd gain time and we'd know the enemy's weakness. Whis responds,
Mr. Beerus, that's pretty bold, don't you think? A demon of the race of cold will think that he alone can defeat an angel and a cat of destruction.
That would be a shame, Whis. However, we are in a heavy threat. If the mother of the angels and all of the cats of destruction think that we have not strengthened our forces within this last millennium, it would be our greatest advantage on the battlefield. Whis starts to smile and says,
Well done, Sir Beerus.
After Beerus and Whis come to an agreement, the two are purposely defeated by Xiao. Now all of this has turned out to be a trap by the angel and god of destruction of Universe 7. Whis smiles. Back to current times. Zalama and Zakai are surprised by the power that Whis is showing. Vado says,
It seems that my brother decided to fight seriously from the beginning. Now I understand. Being humiliated by a cold demon, even on purpose, causes Whis' reputation and honor as an angel to be hurt. So now, from the beginning, he goes with everything. Zakai, if I were you, I would prepare myself to know the power of the strongest angel.
A big explosion happens. Zakai says, What? It cannot be. Zalama starts to smile. See, Zakai, don't hit me. He's afraid of the power of the wrath of one of his children. Zakai responds, It's none of that, Zalama. It's just that right now I'm just completely gone from all the Psycho's energy. Vado starts to smile and says,
They have already started to act. Now get ready, that the next one will be you, Zakai.
Zakai angrily says, Damn you bastards. north side of the High Priestess's palace. After Gohan defeated Zyko, Gohan continues with a serious expression. Piccolo says, "Why are you like this, Gohan? You finally defeated the enemy and that Saiyan was very strong. Surely you have already mastered your new transformation by 100%. Gohan says, "It's not that, Mr. Piccolo, but I feel he wasn't alone. I still feel an evil presence here." Piccolo says, "What are you talking about, Gohan? He's lying on the ground in front of us." Gohan looks at Piccolo with a serious expression and goes into a big Kamehameha. Startled, Piccolo says, "What the hell are you doing, Gohan?" Gohan deflects his attack from Piccolo and directly hits a pilaster that is behind in the palace of the High Priestess. A big laugh starts to emerge. Were you actually able to defeat Zyko? Something that not even Son Goku had been able to do. Who knew the Supreme Saiyan gone from another timeline would be defeated? You figured it all out. This really is amazing. At that moment, Piccolo says, "Who are you? Show up!" In the blink of an eye, a great line is brought by Zyko's body and Zyko's body disappears. Gohan asks, "What have you done, you bastard?" The unknown voice says, "Since Zyko and Gohan are the same person from another timeline, their bodies need to become one. The two will meet soon, and the true being will be born." I've been all this time looking at everything that was happening within this war, and it seemed incredible. Now it seems that our plan is working, isn't it, Zydus? Gohan and Piccolo are startled to hear Zydus' name. Gohan says, "Zydus, isn't that the angel who was with Gon in the Makai Kingdom, Mr. Piccolo?" That voice is saying that they are plotting something behind even the Mother of Angels. A female laugh erupts.
Incredible! You really are incredible! Fantastic, Azazel!
The unknown present has always walked beside Zydus finally has his name and appearance revealed. With gigantic armor, strong appearance and horns, Azazel is revealed to be the unknown presence. Gohan says, "Damn it! For that we didn't expect, Mr. Piccolo. The Supreme Saiyan being used by them is the same way that Gon was used by Sakai." Piccolo says, "Gohan, now this battle is not about a Saiyan battle, but a battle between gods. Who is this guy? His power is totally different from any power I've seen before." Gohan seriously responds, "No matter who it is, we came here with this science, Mr. Piccolo, not science, conscience. No matter who it is, we came here with this conscience, Mr. Piccolo. We will defeat them." In the blink of an eye, Zydus appears in front of Gohan and hits him with a kiss of death. Piccolo says, "What? How you got here so fast?" Gohan receives the kiss of death from Zydus. Zydus says, "One down, Azazel. Now we just have to finish off the Namekusei-jin." To be continued. Was Gohan defeated with just one blow? What's going on in the midst of all this? Regardless of what it is more than important that you already expose it here in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. And the great period of peace came to an end. Goku and the Z Warriors will have new limits to overcome. The universe is no longer the same. Goku will have to overcome his limits. And in the great game the gods created, mortals are but pawns. It seems the gods want to play again. The most incredible battle of all time is about to begin.
I better get them out of here so they don't destroy everything.
Do you really think you can challenge a god?
This time will be different. We won't be just entertainment for them. No, I'm the one who makes the rules. It's gonna be awesome.
Gohan has received the kiss of death from Zydus. Up until now, Zydus' angel's technique kiss of death is that after Zydus kisses the enemy, they are mind-controlled, the same as Gon and Goku received. Piccolo says, "Damn it, Gohan, what's happening to you?" Azazel, standing still, says, "Very well, Zydus. It seems to be getting stronger." Piccolo watches and says, "But Who is this guy? He doesn't look like a god of destruction, and his power is totally different. For sure, he's not even preparing to fight. An angel obeying another entity. At that moment, Gohan was with his eyes open but totally unconscious. Piccolo screams, "Come on, Gohan! React!" Zyto smiling says, "That's impossible, Namekian warrior. This boy is no longer here over us. This time we don't have time to deal with you. I will erase his entire existence from the inside out." What are you talking about? The Kiss of Death technique has several variables. In the same way that I can control the enemy's mentality, I can also poison or destroy all the warrior's bones. Zyto screams, "Association with the Kiss of Death! Internal destruction! Now my poison will be repelled in that Saiyan's body and his body will be totally destroyed!" Piccolo says, "This cannot happen." At the same time that Piccolo is worried, the Namekian being starts to laugh. Azazel watches and says, "What is this guy laughing at?" Gohan has received the Kiss of Death from Zytos. Zyto says, "He's desperate with the death of his student and that's why he's like this." At that moment, a great aura begins to appear over Gohan's body, and the image of all his cells appears in front of Zytos. What is that? Impossible! What are you talking about, Zytos? It's like his cells are healing on their own, much faster than the Kiss of Death poison. Well done, Gohan. Just in time. Gohan regains consciousness and says, "That was a close one, Mr. Piccolo." Zytos and Azazel don't understand what happened. But what was this? Gohan starts to remember his battle against Lavender in the presentation with the Zeno-sama. Lavender was exchanging punches with Gohan. As strong as Gohan was, his body suffered from receiving the poison. Since the fight, Gohan and Goku began to train to protect themselves with their Saiyan energies. Since then, poisons don't work on Gohan's body. Impressed, Zyro says, "But how did you manage to escape the Kiss of Death?" Gohan starts smiling and says, "It's because I'm a Saiyan hybrid, so I have both Saiyan and human mentalities, so your technique will never have an effect on me." Zyto starts to smile and says, "I see. So my Kiss of Death technique is useless against these Saiyans. First it was Goku, then Gon, and now you." At that moment, Zyto's rages and the whole palace starts to shake. Gohan and Piccolo get serious. Zyto says, "If spell techniques don't work, now we will solve it in brute force." Zytos prepares in battle stance. Gohan and Piccolo speak together. It's about time! Planet Earth. Several dragons begin to appear on the Earth of all universes. The warriors of the other universes that were on Earth had received the order of Broly to return to their universes due to the invasion having increased. Kaba and Kale alongside the others head back to their universes. Kaba says, "Caulifla-san, it's going to be okay." Kale looks at Broly and says, "Broly, don't die." Broly smiles. At that moment, several dragons appeared in front of Broly, Black Frieza, and Cell Max. Black Frieza says,
This is getting more interesting than ever. So it means that Son Goku and the others couldn't stop the dragons from releasing the portal and they're going to destroy the Earth. It would be so beautiful to see Goku and Vegeta's planet destroyed by these beings.
At that moment, a ray of light is released on Frieza. Frieza says,
Who dares to attack the Emperor of the Universe? Show up, Lucky, and I'll eliminate you myself.
A great laugh arises, and the place of the land that Black Frieza is on begins to darken and disperses from Broly and Cell Max. Emperor of the Universe. So that's the name you call yourself. How you grew, Frieza. But we should have that name together. Black Frieza changes his composure and says,
It's not possible. That voice, Cooler, it's you.
Frieza's brother, Cooler, appears from the smoke that has cleared. He says, "Exactly, my brother. Thanks to the Mother of Angels, I am back. The portal of the Kingdom of Dragons was released and the Supreme Dragon granted me his powers. Now I have the necessary power to dominate all these planets in this universe. Come with me and let's destroy it all. At that moment, Black Frieza is silent. Broly says, "Where is that damn Frieza? It can't stay like this!" At that instant, Black Frieza throws a great blast of energy on his brother, causing the entire location to be destroyed, launching several dragons to the mountains of the earth. Cooler says, "What are you doing, brother?" Frieza laughing says, "Brother, I am not your brother. I don't have a family. Since I was a little kid, I had to learn to get by on my own, and I became the emperor of the universe all on my own, with my own army. I never needed you for anything. I have no intentions of sharing a job with you, the same title. The price and demand for power is great, and my only right was to disown anyone who claimed to be close to me and was not. For now, my goals are different. And your end will now be..." So there's no way, as I should always have guessed that about you. Cooler starts to rage and causing the earth to start to shake with increase of his ki. At that moment, Cooler turns into Black Cooler. Frieza is startled and says, "But how did you manage to achieve this transformation?" Cooler lunges at Frieza. A great battle ensues. Meanwhile, on the south side of the nearby mountain, Paozu, Goten, and Trunks brought Bulma and Chi-Chi along with several adults and children to hide in a mountain cave in order to avoid being attacked. Goten says,
Trunks, it seems that the invasion of our parents didn't work out very well. Now our universes are being attacked again.
Trunks responds,
Something must have happened that they didn't expect, Goten. I'm sure it could have something to do with the half-brother of yours. But we don't have time to waste. Let's get out of here and help in the battle. The Earth is being invaded.
At that moment, Chi-Chi screams arises.
Help, Goten!
A big demon dragon is holding Chi-Chi and says, "Now it's your end, mediocre mortal." Bulma, scared to death, says,
Release her, you filth!
Bulma is attacked and falls to the ground. Chi-Chi says,
We've come this far and now we're going to be killed. Goku, where are you?
The moment Chi-Chi was going to be attacked, the demon dragon receives a double kick to his face by Goten and Trunks. Trunks goes to Bulma and says,
Mom, are you okay?
Bulma responds,
It's okay, my son. Take care of this guy.
Goten says,
Whenever danger lurks, I will fight for justice.
Trunks says,
You look like your brother when you dress up as Great Saiyan, Goten.
The dragon demon appears in front of Goten and Trunks and says, "That kick didn't even tickle. Let's see what we have here." Dinner time. Goten and Trunks speak.
What? Not even a scar?
Goten and Trunks versus Rising. Rising had been enraged to see that the dragon demon Shaki's ki was no more. Broly had easily defeated the dragon demon to save Krillin and his friends. After that, Goten and Trunks continued their hard battle against Rising, the dragon demon on Paozu Mountain. Goten and Trunks merge. The new warrior is born. A voice comes up.
I am amazing! It seems like that power is the power needed to finish anyone! I'm definitely stronger than our parents and Gohan!
Rising watches and says, "This guy's voice is even more annoying than those two boys." The warrior appears in front of Rising and says,
I am not Goten and nor Trunks! My name is Gotenks! Prepare that this will be the end for you!
Gotenks charges at Rising in full power in his base form. Gotenks tries to launch several attacks. Rising keeps dodging. Chi-Chi says,
Oh no, Goten and Trunks turned into two outlaws!
Bulma says,
They're not outlaws, but I'd be really happy if they ended up with this guy.
Gotenks then says,
You know you're pretty strong, but you've already caused enough with us, and you can't live with it anymore. Ha 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 ha! Super Ghost Kamikaze Super Attack!
Rising watches and says, "What is that? He creates copies of himself and he's going to release it on me? Ha 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 ha! What a pathetic technique! I'll wipe you all out in the blink of an eye." Goten says,
Attack!
Rising begins to dodge Gotenks' ghost clones while Gotenks watches and laughs. Rising attacks a ghost clone of Gotenks and at that moment says, "What is that? Impossible! A large explosion begins to occur directly in Raizen's body. Gotenks starts laughing and says,
You're gone now! That doesn't mean you're welcome! Ha 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 ha! Now it's your end!
Gotenks transforms into a Super Saiyan 3 and makes a serious face saying,
I'm already tired of playing. I won't hesitate like I did last time. This is the most powerful combined blow of Goten and Trunks. Final Kamehameha!
It cannot be! A huge explosion occurs after Rutin takes your full attack. Due to the great amount of power that was used by Gotenks, the fusion was undone. Bulma and Chi-Chi hug and says,
Yay, yay, they won! Trunks, that was awesome! This time we got him, Goten. His strength really was monstrous, but we were much stronger.
At that moment, a great shaking begins to occur in the earth. Raizen's voice comes up. You damn brats! How dare you! Who do you think you are to hurt a god? Saki! I will need your power! A great light appears in the region where Shaki's body was, sucking Shaki's spiritual energy, leading to Raizen. Raizen receives Shaki's powers and says, Now I am recovered and with 100% of my powers again. Now I will be the end of you two brats. Goten says,
Impossible! This guy's still alive? Trunks, now it's complicated.
Palace of the High Priestess. Whis had been waging his battle against Sakai. Great blasts of energy were hurled. Sakai, smiling, says, You've got a lot stronger as the last time, isn't it, Whis? I knew very well that you had all this potential from the past when you were just an angel, apprentice, and said that one day you would be the strongest angel. Know that I'm proud of you and would be happier if you came to my side. Whis says, Secret technique of the angels, offensive celestial cube. A large heavenly cube is thrown to Sakai's side. At that moment, Sakai dodges the cube. Sakai says, What a predictable attack. Whis smiles and says, And who said I was focusing on you? At that moment, the celestial cube advances directly towards Zalama. Zalama smiles and says, It's aiming at me. In the blink of an eye, Zalama with the staff breaks Whis' celestial cube and large pieces of shard flow through the palace. Whis says, As expected from the god of Super Dragon Balls. At that moment, Sakai speaks. Very interesting that the angels left their respective universes alongside their god of destruction. Everything was very vulnerable, isn't it? Your dear Earth has few powerful mortals. I feel that the energy of two Saiyans is almost reaching the end. I believe a general will finish them off. At that moment, Vando starts watching and closes her eyes. Vando says, It's impossible. It's Mr. Goku's son and Mr. Vegeta's son who are fighting and are being cornered by Zalama's general. Zalama watches and speaks. Are those warriors who said we should be worried about Sakai? I only said a horde from the lowest strength squad and Saiyans are having a hard time beating them. This will be easier than I thought. Whis starts to smile. So that's it. Sakai watches with a serious face. Why are you laughing? You should be sad and mad because at that moment everything will end for them. Don't make me laugh, Sakai. Whis changes his face and says, Do you really think I didn't think about all that before coming here? What? I sent Son Gohan to the Makai world for just that. Gohan managed to deliver the Majin essence to me so that an extremely powerful being emerged. You must know the demon that for millennia destroyed countless planets and was feared even by the gods. Don't you? Majin Buu. After Majin Buu was killed and Son Goku asked him to reincarnate into a good person, his essence of destruction, where his greatest powers were, was sent to the Makai realm. Son Gohan was tasked with stealing the chalice of this essence in the Makai realm. He faced Gon and managed to bring me the essence of Majin energy, and I sent that essence to that child's body to accelerate his evolution process. What are you talking about, Whis? It would kill the child. You're very silly, Sakai. It would kill the child for sure if it was a dark essence, but I modified his dark Majin essence and inserted an angelic energy. What? Have you created a Majin angel? Who knows? Back to Goten and Trunks' battle. Goten and Trunks have no more spaces. Everyone around is scared to death of Raizen's fury. Raizen says, "The end of you has finally come! Ha 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 ha! After finishing off the two of you, I will devour these humans one by one. Now die!" At the moment when Goten and Trunks were about to be destroyed, a large pink goo appears in front of the magic that had been released by Raizen. Trunks looks and says, "What? Is it Majin Buu?" Goten responds, "Is that a good or evil Majin Buu, Trunks?" At that moment, a boy with dark skin and spiky hair appears and says, "I felt that people here needed my help a while ago, but only now I have managed to finish off the enemies that attacked my village. I hope you're well. You don't have to worry any longer. I will take care of this guy now." Damn it, who are you, kid? I'm tired of you all. Let's put an end to this. The unknown boy says. Put an end to it? We're just getting started. Sakai was impressed with what Whis was saying. Zalama, sitting on his throne, watches and speaks. Looks like you underestimated the angels, isn't it, Sakai? Vado starts to laugh. Whis, you are amazing. I mean, then you released an angelic energy combined with a Majin energy on this boy so that he has his vision in Universe 7 and could protect in all threats. But if we think about it, beings of the Majin race are already extremely strong in themselves. A human Majin still with the essence of an angel. This hybrid combination perhaps had the potential for powers even greater than Gon's. Whis interrupts and says, I was thinking all this time I knew that Gon could rebel and go against the laws of the angel and Zeno-sama at any moment. In this way, the one who was considered the prodigy and the next salvation in the Universal War could become the biggest threat. And look, looks like I got it right again. A great shudder in the palace of the High Priestess Sakai arises. Whis and Vados make a serious face, Sakai further increasing his ki. Goku fighting Kai says, What monstrous energy is this? Kai says, Looks like someone's been pissing off the Mother of Angels. Goku charges forwards and tries to land a Kamehameha instant transmission on Kai. Kai predicts this move and attacks Goku. Goku smiles and says, It seems that fighting an angel is no joke. His perception is much greater than even Whis, and he only uses power blows. I don't see any kind of ki energy. What's he hiding? I am the strongest angel. I refuse to use magic in battle. All that settles is at the base of my fists. Now that is true strength. Again, a great shudder occurs. Kai speaks. Are you hearing and feeling this? It is the shudder of rage from Sakai, the Mother of Angels. In this way, everything is moving along in the footsteps of the Great Priestess. Goku starts to smile. What are you laughing so hard about? It's just that I'm impressed by a guy as strong as you, who calls himself the strongest angel, yet obeys a crazy priestess who wants to end all the universe on a whim. At that moment, Kai's features change completely. Kai, who had been having his battle laughing, starts to get coldly serious and says, Don't you dare talk about Sakai. Who do you think you are to say anything about the High Priestess? Sakai is the Mother of Angels and her will be done. You are mortal fools who obey Daishikan and Zeno-sama without even knowing their true ideas. While you're here killing each other in a war, your leaders are sitting in chairs just laughing at everything that is happening. Kai teleports in front of Goku and grabs his head and drags Goku through the pillars of Sakai's palace. Goku, receiving the blow, says, But at what point did he manage to do this? That will be the end of you, Son Goku. Meanwhile, Beerus was walking through the High Priestess Palace and had already noticed that great changes had taken place and felt something extremely shudder. Beerus says, "It seems that the angelic power is from Whis and Vados. However, at the same time, passive angelic energy is being shown. It is definitely the mother of angels. I need to find them." Beerus, you never change. For all this time, you haven't noticed my presence. Beerus takes a deep breath and speaks. I noticed your presence from the moment I arrived at this palace. Looks like you decided to leave the planet of destruction cats and come to me, isn't it, father? Beerus' father finally appears. Back to center stage. Zakai says, "Please, you little brat. Now you'll learn never to piss off the mother of angels again." Zakai's energy increased by 1,000 times. Whis watches and speaks. Looks like now I've really managed to piss off the mother of angels. Planet Earth. Goten and Trunks are saved by a mysterious warrior. Trunks speaks.
Who is this kid? He has a totally different energy than everyone else. Otherwise, he will be killed by Ryzen if we don't help.
The smiling boy looks at Trunks and Goten and says, "Hello. I could see that you fought bravely against this guy for all this time. You are amazing." Trunks looks and thinks,
He's talking in a way that he's much stronger than us, and that he will be able to take out Ryzen easily. Who is he after all?
Goten gets all excited and talks.
Trunks! He seems to be very strong. If we fight together, we will be able to finish him off.
At that moment, the boy speaks. "No, don't waste your energy any longer. I'll take care of him." Goten and Trunks are impressed. Bulma says,
Who is that boy? It doesn't matter. If he's on our side, just finish him off.
Furious Ryzen says, "Ah! That's enough! Dragon's Roar combined with Ragnarok energy!" Trunks speaks.
Damn it, not this attack again.
Goten says,
It looks like she's even stronger than last time. He's absorbed more of someone's energy.
the moment Ryzen's attack will hit everyone, the boy's voice comes up. Machin Kamehame. Goten says,
Is he using Kamehameha?
An image of Kid Buu appears behind the boy. Ryzen's attack is disintegrated. Ryzen says, "What was that? That's impossible. This guy is thinking he can beat me." The boy appears in front of Ryzen through a teleport and says, "I didn't introduce myself to you. I am Oob, the warrior Majin, and you are being a threat to the Earth. So get the heck out of here." Shut up, you insolent brat! This will be my final blow and I will end everything here! At that time, Oob says, "It seems like there's no other way." Majin, secret technique of absorption. At that moment, again, a large pink goo appears that grows and surrounds Ryzen's body. Ryzen says, "Damn it, damn it, I can't breathe! What have you done to me, boy?" Oob speak, as its power served to destroy everything around here. Now I will take it to rebuild everything. I will turn you into chocolate! Oob creates another technique and launches a blast at Ryzen, making his body turn to chocolate. Trunks says,
What? It's the same technique as Majin Buu.
Oob turns Ryzen into chocolate and eats it. Oob then says, "This is an amazing power, and I was starving." Oob's body starts to change and his muscle mass starts to increase and his size too. Everyone is impressed. Goten says,
That's so cool. He ended up with Rising.
Trunks responds,
Actually, this victory was kind of bizarre.
Oob appears and speaks.
You must be Goten and Trunks, aren't you? I don't know why, but something tells me we fought before.
Trunks remembers Gotenks battle with Buu and speaks.
This boy must definitely have a connection with Majin Buu. No, I think this is the first time we've seen each other.
Oob says, "Well, we don't have time to hang around here.
I feel that several threats are here invading the Earth. The time has come to kick all these guys' asses. Oob uses the same recovery technique as Majin Buu on Goten and Trunks. Goten says, "What was that? I feel like I'm 100 times stronger now." Trunks responds, "Me too, Goten." Oob looks and speaks, "I got your powers back. Now let's finish off these guys." Universe 11. A big bang occurs in Universe 11. A child is trying to escape with his mother from the attack of several dragons. Unknown child begins to cry when he sees stones fall on his mother. Unknown child says, "Help, please! My mom got stuck!" A dragon appears in front of the child and says,
"Oh, if it's not a little boy screaming for his mother." What annoys me the most about you human mortals is that whenever you don't have the strength to fight, you start begging for help as if someone is going to come into your rescue. You disgust me, mortals. Die. Just as the boy's mother was about to get attacked, a large figure appears and rescues the mother and the child. The dragon says, "What is this?" "You're safe. Run away from here now." The boy answers, "Thank you very much, Mr. Rabbit. Let's go, Mom." Dispo appears and says, "Yeah, don't call me Mr. Rabbit. My name is Dispo. I'm the fastest man in the world." The dragon looks at Dispo and says, "Damn you! Take my fangs! Take my most powerful attack!" At that moment, Dispo starts to move quickly and says, "Fist Flash!" Dispo defeats the dragon with just one blow. Soon after, the Pride Trooper squad is assembled. Topo says, "It looks like we'll have to take care of all this non-stop invasion. While Jiren doesn't come back, we'll have to fight these guys bravely and show our real powers. Our squad is the most powerful." Topo was very confident, but in his thinking, he starts to reflect and says, "Jiren, I hope all is well with you. Please, do not die." Celestial portal near the entrance to the palace of the High Priestess Akai. At that moment, Jiren and Hit begin to combine their attacks together against Yujiro the Annihilator. Yujiro easily dodges and with a sarcastic smile says, "Aliens in the Saiyan, full plate for the destroyer of worlds." Hit starts to laugh and says, "I've never felt the urge to eliminate someone like this guy." Yujiro says, "So you're trying to fight 3 against 1? This is both a disadvantage." Cauliflower watches and speaks, "Who do you think you are, you bastard? We're in a war. In a war, anything goes." Cauliflower activates her new transformation and unthinkingly charges directly at Yujiro. Hit says, "Cauliflower, wait! This could be a trap!" Cauliflower starts to land several attacks on Yujiro. Yujiro, the Annihilator, starts taking several hits insanely. Yujiro says, "How is this such power possible? I thought powerful Saiyans were only those from Universe 7. Cauliflower throws Yujiro at Hit. Hit stranges this a bit, but still hits Yujiro. At that moment, Jiren had his eyes closed, trying to understand the whole situation. Jiren says, "This doesn't make any sense. This guy looked all confident in battle. Now he's taking a lot of hits. Wait, what if he..." At that moment, Jiren screams, "Hit! Cauliflower! Get out of there now! It's a trap!" Yujiro starts to laugh and says, "Too late! Connection!" Hit in Cauliflower's body starts to take a lot of damage even though they're standing still. Yujiro uses an instant recovery technique and says, "Now I'm brand new! Too bad I can't say the same for you two." Weekend Hit says, "Damn it, what have you done?" "You fools! Did you think I wouldn't be able to escape all these blows? You make me laugh. My secret connection technique makes enemies who receive it have their lives connected to mine. If I receive blows from another enemy, they do too. But nothing happens to me, did you know? While Hit and Cauliflower attacked me and thought they were humiliating me, they were really just attacking each other." Cauliflower falls to the ground and says, "You miserable piece of..." "I'm sorry, Jiren." Hit makes a serious face while still standing and moves forwards to attack Yujiro. Yujiro says, You're crazy! Trying to attack me even though you know the result will be your death. Hit smiles and says, if the result is my death, why are you going astray? Jiren watches and speaks. He's right, Hit. If you continue like this, you will die. Hit responds, that's not a problem for me. I was born ready to die. Cauliflower, lying on the ground, looks at Jiren and speaks.
Don't even think about it. We better do something here that I can only die after becoming the strongest Saiyan.
Yujiro launches a large blast of energy at Hit and Cauliflower. Hit says, Cauliflower, let's stay on a dodge. Jiren speaks, please, you two don't get involved. Let me take care of this guy. I have a plan. Hit looks at Cauliflower and the two start to run away. Yujiro starts to laugh and says, like I was going to let you guys get away. Yujiro dashes directly in front of Cauliflower and Hit. At that moment, Jiren appears and speaks, I will be your opponent now. Furious, Yujiro speaks, so let's attack me and make your friend suffer the pain. Jiren is silent. Yujiro steps forward and starts landing several blows on Jiren. Hit observes and speaks, Jiren, I hope you know what you're doing. Yujiro lands several blows on Jiren until Jiren begins to falter. Cauliflower speaks,
Damn it, it's impossible to win. For Jiren to be able to defeat him, he would have to kill us. That's the end for us.
Yujiro speaks, I have told them that I should fight Son Goku, but you shut up. The end of you all has come. Yujiro creates a large sphere of energy looking like a sun and says, burn! Amaterasu! Hit doesn't say anything. Cauliflower gets serious and says,
We're about to die. If Jiren wanted to get out of here, he could, but he still doesn't abandon us.
Jiren begins to watch the large energy being launched at them, and he reflects. Flashback of Jiren on planet Belmont, god of destruction of Universe 11. Belmont was training with Jiren in a one-on-one fight. Jiren was having the upper hand in the fight and says, it seems that my powers are superior to that of the god of destruction. Belmont starts to laugh, drawing 2 cards from his deck and says, I wouldn't count on it, Jiren. Belmont draws the Queen and Joker card, which combined give Belmont unlimited magical powers. At that moment, Belmont says, destruction stealing energy. Belmont creates several chains on Jiren's body. Jiren looks at Belmont and says, impossible. Belmont starts laughing and says, you lost, Jiren. You are very powerful in physical strength, but you lack to fight enemies with high magical powers. Alright, I'll release you. Let's continue on training. Jiren smiles. Back to current times. Jiren was about to take the attack from Yujiro. Yujiro screamed insanely, goodbye, mortals, die! Jiren starts laughing and says, your madness will be the reason for your defeat. Jiren's body starts to turn red. Jiren begins to rage amid the gigantic sun that was being thrown at him. Jiren holds the sun and with great impacts launches Yujiro's attack into space. Yujiro says, what? Impossible! At that moment, Jiren advances towards Yujiro and points as if he was going to hit Yujiro with a big punch. Cauliflower says,
oh no, we're going to feel the full impact of Jiren's punch.
Hit remains silent. Yujiro speaks, are you crazy? Will you kill all your companions? Jiren approaches Yujiro and says, mental sealing technique of destruction. At that moment, Yujiro gets scared and Jiren touches Yujiro's head. Yujiro is speechless and unable to say a word. Absolute silence arises. Cauliflower asks,
What happened to him? He's paralyzed?
It speaks. A killer technique of destruction that cancels all enemy magic effects due to attack in the brain. Yujiro is in an empty dimension in his mind that he will never be able to escape from. Seems like Jiren was able to master a killer technique of destruction that not even the greatest assassin, me, was capable of using. Impressive. Cauliflower says,
what? So are we safe?
Yes, we are. Jiren, with his energy all spent, is about to fall to the ground and is caught by Hit. Jiren gets up and on Hit's shoulder says, we don't have time to stand here. Let's go back. Caulifla speaks.
I owe you one, Jiren. You saved our lives.
Save your words for later. This is all just the beginning. Universe 6 and 11 unitedly win the battle against Yujiro the Annihilator. Oob next to Goten and Trunks at Paozu Mountain. Goten and Trunks are impressed by Oob. Goten says,
Wow, Trunks! This guy is strong! He easily managed to defeat that villain.
Trunks responds,
He's very strong. If it weren't for him, we would be in real trouble now, Goten. Hey, Oob! Thank you very much!
Oob smiles and answers, There's nothing to be thankful for. I feel that for some reason my powers have started to rise because I've been chosen to put an end to this war. Trunks doesn't quite understand what Oob was trying to say. At that instant, a huge shudder starts happening right on Paozu Mountain. Goten and Trunks get serious. Oob looks and speaks. What is this monstrous power? A smiling voice says, Calm down, it's just me. Broly appears alongside Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha. Broly says, I felt a big bang coming from several locations, but I saw it here because I felt Trunks and Goten's ki weakened. But from what I'm seeing, you managed to resolve this situation. Goten says,
Thank you, Mr. Broly, but all this could be resolved thanks to Oob.
Broly watches and speaks. Thanks for the help, kid. I don't remember Goku or Vegeta talking about a warrior as strong as you on the planet Beerus. Oob starts to smile and responds, There's nothing to be thankful for. I'm just here to help. Let's end this war. Krillin notices a familiar energy in Oob's ki. Krillin begins to think, No, it's not possible. I'm sure I know this energy. It's the same as the time he turned me into chocolate. Even his name is Oob. If we read his name backwards, it will be the same as Boo. This boy definitely has a relationship with Majin Buu. Krillin begins to remember the whole Earth being destroyed and begins to be scared to death. At that moment, Broly holds Krillin's shoulder and says, Don't worry, if something gets out of hand, I'm here to help. Krillin responds in his thoughts, but then he starts to reflect. Phew, at least we have Broly here with us. But wait, what if Broly gets out of hand too? What if he... Palace of the High Priestess Akai. Vegeta had been having his fight against Shiva, the Blood Angel. Shiva says, Vegeta, you and Son Goku fought my clone in the Void Dimension when you were trapped by Saki and Basara, and together you barely managed to do anything to my clone. What makes you think you could do something to me? You are very foolish. You will never be able to do something against me, you mortal. Vegeta initially has a serious face, but soon after he starts to smile and says, I came prepared to rip Sakai's head off. Now a weakly angel like you appears in front of me with 1,000 lectures thinking I'll be scared. Surely you don't know the Prince of all Saiyans. We Saiyans have no limits to our powers. The Vegeta you knew is not the same as before. And know that after Kakarot eliminated his clone, we freed a clear friend of yours from the past. Shiva watches with a serious face and says, What are you talking about? Don't tell me you... We released the dragon Zuffy from his ceiling in the empty dimension, and he taught the essence of Yamoshi to Kakarot. And I discovered that I have the essence of the reincarnation of the Saiyan God Yamazaki. I will end you, Shiva. At that moment, a great shudder begins to occur at Vegeta's location, and Shiva's strength begins to increase exponentially. Shiva gets irritated and says, I should have killed you two then and there. You didn't deserve to live. Sakai will be extremely furious when he finds out that the dragon was released. That couldn't have happened. After finishing with Vegeta, I will come for you, Zafir. Blood spikes. Vegeta receives this attack. Several spikes begin to come out of Shiva's head and begin to be launched at high speed at Vegeta. Vegeta says, What? She's pulling several thorns from her head. What a bizarre thing. Vegeta, with his Ultra Ego activated, starts to dodge Shiva. Shiva watches and starts laughing. Too slow. At that moment, several thorns starts to hit Vegeta. Vegeta says, "Damn it, impossible!" Vegeta begins to receive several very powerful blows from Shiva, and his body is completely bloodied and lying on the ground. Shiva says, "It's finally over." These Saiyans are still weak as ever. A huge laugh erupts and a huge punch at lightning speed lands on Shiva's face. Frightening Shiva says, What was this?" Vegeta, even pierced and with his ultra ego activated, starts laughing. Shiva says, "How is this possible? How is this guy still alive?" Vegeta says, "Yamazaki. The essence of Yamazaki is amazing!" Vegeta's body instantly begins to heal from his wounds inflicted by the bloody angel. Vegeta says, "Now, it'll be your end, Shiva. Now the one who will spill blood will be you!" Interesting. So is he able to do that? Perfect. Teach me more about this Yamazaki essence. North side of the High Priestess Palace. Goku was lying on the ground. Kai, the strongest angel, says, "Looks like it's over now." Goku gets back to his feet. Kai speaks. "You are very persistent. In fact, maybe even more than gone. That boy had a lot of nerve. He thought he could beat me just because he had Saiyan powers mixed with angel powers. He just forgot that a purebred angel like me possesses extremely high powers." Goku, angry, says, "I already told you to stop talking about God! It's your fault he was captured here!" Goku advances towards the Kai. At that moment, his order form had already been lost due to several blows that Goku had received from Kai. Goku says, "Damn it! This guy's power is light years greater than Zaki and Bazara together. Is that really the power of an angel? If that's true, Mr. Whis always teased us even the moment we left the room of the gods. I promised to save Gon and the Earth, but if this continues, I won't be able to pass even this guy, and that can't happen." I says, "Son Goku, you talk too much. You get the fists of the strongest." Kai creates a large sphere of energy in his fists and hits Goku with all his might. Goku is thrown away, and at the same time he gets up and tries to attack the Kai. Kai begins to receive several blows from the Saiyan. Goku speaks, "Take all these blows and feel the power of the Universe 7 Saiyan, Goku!" Initially, Sakai receives the blow with a serious face, but soon after he starts to laugh and talk. "Not a chance. Is this what I've waited so long to fight Goku for?" Goku watches and speaks. "Impossible." Kai lands one punch on Goku, which makes him lose his transformation and falls to the ground. Kai begins to pull away from Goku. Goku says, "Where do you think you're going?" Kai says, "You're no longer able to fight. If you want to save Gon so badly, come after me." Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Goku closes his eyes and Kai continues to leave the location of the High Priestess Palace. Goku speaks. "I was defeated. This couldn't happen." At that moment, a great light begins to appear in front of Goku. Goku says, "Has he changed his mind and decided to kill me now?" A shadow appears over Goku and the image of Vados appears above him. "What? Vados? How did you get here?" Vados says, "Hey Goku, I'm not the Vados you know. I am Gon's real mother from another timeline." Goku says, "What? I must be crazy." Goku had been defeated by Kai. The supremacy of the most powerful angel force surpassed Goku. A great light appeared at the scene of the fight, and Goku, falling to the ground in his unconscious, says, "What is happening to me? Nothing is making sense. Why didn't Kai kill me? Where am I? Who are you anyway?" The moment Goku was defeated, the image of Vados appeared in front of him. Goku stayed for several moments questioning himself. Vados from another timeline says,
Son Goku, I'm very happy to meet you. And I'm also impressed to see that you're just like the Goku I fell in love with in my timeline.
Goku watches and speaks. Huh? What do you mean, Mr. Vados? Are you telling me that you are not the Vados I know? Sister of Mr. Whis from Universe 7?
That's not it, you silly. I am Vados, but from another timeline. You were lucky to have fought against Kai, who, even though he was on Sakai's side, is the fairest angel in combat. He probably let you live so that you could have more time to recover your powers and become stronger. I've been watching all your struggles silently inside you.
What? Inside of me? I just might be going crazy.
Exactly, Goku. Before this war, and because of all the catastrophe that had occurred in my timeline, I had to talk to myself from this timeline because very similar events were taking place in both timelines. The Goku of my timeline has become an angel by my side, but for some reason an unknown presence is sealing his powers and he has been injured since his last battle. We were facing hard times there. Since I started to analyze it all, I realized that his timeline was the cause of all this, and because of this great catastrophe and because of me, and Goku not being able to leave our timeline. But I know that Gon could be the key to putting an end to this war. I also knew that this was a double-edged sword. That's why I implanted a part of my energy under his body, and if something happened to him, my energy from his body would be dispersed, and I would then be able to talk to you from this Son Goku timeline.
Goku is watching all confused and speaks. This is all pretty crazy. Even though the Vados son I know just told me that I had a child with her in another timeline. Vado looks at Goku and says,
Mr. Goku, pay attention, please. I don't know if you know, but the relationship between angels and mortals is forbidden and considered a heavenly crime. And this entails several consequences. However, if the relationship between an angel and a mortal is a crime, then the result of it is true insult to the gods.
Goku makes a serious face. Vados concludes,
I think you already understand why I'm here. It's time for you to discover the whole truth about Goku, the mortal Saiyan, and Vados the angel, the two heavenly sins.
Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of the Z Warriors. Without further ado, let's go back to the point. Timeline number 14. The timeline number 14 is similar to Trunks' timeline until the moment Zeno-sama destroyed the entire universe. It turns out that unlike Trunks' timeline, Vados and Champa appear at the time that Zeno-sama is destroyed on Earth and teleport the Earth to an empty galaxy, making everyone believe that the universes of timeline 14 had been destroyed, but they were not. Vados says,
Look, Mr. Champa, that was really close. If we'd only taken a little longer, everything would have turned into cosmic dust.
Champa says, I don't have to deal with everything Beerus did. We managed to save the universe, but the Earth was completely eradicated by Zeno. And on top of it, they took Zeno-sama from our timeline to theirs. Vados smiles and says,
You know, that makes our timeline a lot easier to hack since we don't have Zeno-sama anymore, right, Mr. Champa?
Champa says, Don't piss me off, Vados. You know damn well this was his idea. Vados says,
Well, I believe if we did that, we need at least if the souls of the Earth were all taken to the world of Amadayo.
Let's go there then. Planet Lord Kaio. Goku trains alongside King Kai. Goku, after his death from heart disease, did not stop training for a day, vowing to protect the world of souls, since he was unable to protect the Earth due to having died from the natural heart disease. Lord Kaio says,
Goku, don't you get tired of getting strong? I'm sure no one who shows up here will be able to do anything against us.
This is all thanks to you, Mr. Kaio. You trained me and made me reach unimaginable powers. I'm excited to keep getting stronger. The last tournament you had was amazing. Meanwhile, at the entrance to the realm of the dead, Amadayo is desperate to see so many souls arriving without stopping. Amadayo questions, What the heck is happening here? What happened to the Earth of this universe? At that moment, Vados and Champa appear in front of Amadayo and speaks.
It seems that everyone around here ended up getting complicated, isn't it, Amadayo? All these clouds are dead from the Earth due to the extinction that Zeno-sama created. But wait, Who is this mortal who continues with his fleshy body even beyond death?
Imadayo responds, "Are you talking about Goku?"
He is a formidable opponent who protected the Earth for a long time, but due to a heart disease, he ended up dying. Surely if he was alive still, he would not have let them eradicated the land.
Champa observes and speaks, "Vados, let's see who this Goku guy is.
So if he were alive, my brother's universe wouldn't have appeared.
I don't like this guy anymore." Goku continues training from King Kai's planet until such time as King Kai says,
What an absurd power is this? It cannot be.
Goku watches and speaks.
What are you talking about, Mr. Kaio? It's like you saw a ghost.
Lord Kaio responds,
Damn it, they're already here.
Vados and Champa appear on King Kai's planet. Vados sees Goku and blushes and says,
Wow, what a handsome man.
Champa watches.
You are the mortal to blame for the death of my brother. Because of you, the Earth no longer exists.
Goku watches and speaks. What? The Earth was destroyed? Trunks? Wait, what are you talking about? I've been dead for a while now. Champa dashes forwards to attack Goku. Lord Kaio says,
Goku, run away! It's Champa, the god of destruction from Universe 6! You don't stand a chance against him!
Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan and speaks. I'm sorry, Mr. Kaio, but I can't run away from a fight. Champa starts laughing and says,
Look at him, Vados! What a daring mortal! He still dares to want to fight a god of destruction. Hey, mortal! What is your name?
Name Son Goku of Earth.
Perfect! I will engrave your name. I am Champa, the god of destruction from Universe 6. Engrave that name, and because it will be the last name you will hear in your life.
Vados begins to watch and speaks.
A mortal who even without chances challenges a god of destruction to protect his friends is a warrior spirit and is recognized even by the gods. This feeling in my body, skin turning red, my heart pounding, and the feeling of wanting to know him more. It can't be. I'm in love. Come on, Son Goku. Show Champa that you're the most powerful warrior of all universes. I'm rooting for you.
King Kai watches and speaks.
What? Is the angel of the god of destruction universe rooting for Goku?
Champa responds,
Vados! What the fuck are you talking about?
To be continued. So hey, my partner, what do you believe is going to happen next? Regardless of what it is, it's more than important that you already expose it here in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.